Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Weak mechanics. Dominate the universe from Skynet. Chapter 41. Sha Feng did not hide his voice. On the contrary, with the blessing of blood, this voice spread throughout the battlefield. Sha Bufan. Who is this person? Also surnamed Sha. Is the other party also a member of the Sha family? In that case, the president of the council has a helper. Stop dreaming, follow behind monsters, and sneak up. Don't even dare to show your face, it's definitely not a good thing. That's right, maybe those monsters were attracted by the other party. Isn't he human? What good is it for him if we have an accident? 80% of them belong to the old forces of the clan, and such people should die without a corpse. I curse him to have a son without PI. Quote. In the command center, Sha Badian was slightly taken aback when he heard the name Sha Bufan. Then, the memories deep in my mind slowly surfaced. This Sha Bufan seems to be a member of the tribe that his daughter liked back then. I don't remember that guy's talent is very poor. How did he appear here? Nowadays, not everyone is qualified to be the enemy of Sha Feng. Less than Xian, in the eyes of Sha Feng, there is no difference with the ants. Can be crushed with one finger. Perhaps because his identity was revealed, Sha Bufan did not continue to hide. As the void fluctuated for a while, his figure slowly emerged. At the same time, the coercion of the life level like a sea of abyss instantly dominates the battlefield. It is different from the coercion brought by the previous Xian monsters. This repression does not act on the soul, but the life instinct engraved in the depths of the gene is trembling. Like a herbivore facing a tiger. Feeling that special feeling, several supreme powers are coming here. The figure stagnated in an instant. This is Martial Emperor. It can't be wrong, it can make us feel the suppression of life level, it is definitely Martial Emperor. How come a Martial Emperor suddenly appeared? I don't know, but that's not important. Opportunity, this is a big opportunity, we must seize it. Quote. If it is Sha Feng, it is only suspected that the Martial Emperor exists. Then this new powerhouse is undoubtedly the Emperor Wu. There is no need for the other party to shoot, everyone is 100% sure of this. The existence they have been striving for all their lives will never admit their mistakes. There is only one thought in everyone's mind right now. How can you ask someone to point you out? That's right, it's request. No one would be foolish enough to threaten a genuine Martial Emperor. Although there is only one level difference between King Wu and Emperor Wu in the later stage, the gap is not smaller than the gap between King Wu and Warrior. Even bigger. In this case, humble begging is the only way out. Thinking of this, the eyes of everyone looking at Sha Feng gradually became dangerous. Listening to the tone of the other party just now, there seems to be a contradiction between the two. If we can help the Emperor Wu. Too lazy to pay attention to the thoughts of a few ants in the distance. I'm curious, how did you guess it was mine? Sha Bufan was surrounded by pale golden blood and asked slowly. He didn't expect that Sha Feng could find himself immediately. And also to determine his identity. Just as Sha Feng guessed, after being stimulated by Sha Feng, his consciousness was indeed depressed for a while. However, by chance, he accidentally opened a treasure when he was going to the toilet. In other words, it is more accurate to call the place of inheritance. It was left by a Martial Emperor before the void was broken. There, he reshaped the heart of martial arts and obtained the entire inheritance of the Martial Emperor. Coincidentally, the mysterious cultivation technique he practiced was left behind by the other party to screen his disciples. The protagonist's halo is matched with the obsession with Sha Feng. Sha Bufan just broke through all difficulties and cultivated to the half-step Martial Emperor level. That's right, he's not at the Martial Emperor level yet. But that's just a matter of time. As long as the soul transformation is over, he will become a genuine Martial Emperor. At that time, he will rule the world and unify all the forces. As for monsters, that crap is not a threat at all. In the inheritance he got, there are ways to control monsters. The 5 Xian monsters this time were captured by him on the way. Your halo is too dazzling, I can see it from a distance. Sha Feng answered the other party's question half-truths while looking at the other party with interest. The instrument shows that the golden blood energy around the opponent's body is actually the fusion of soul power and blood energy. If you want to be promoted to martial emperor, you need more than soul energy. The perfect fusion of blood energy and soul energy is the only way to succeed. No wonder my soul strength is so strong that I still can't be promoted to martial emperor. The problem is here. The question that has troubled Sha Feng for a long time finally has an answer. With the help of the soul thirst ability, his soul strength is dozens of times that of the strongest. The strongest can only manifest part of the true body of martial arts, and he can manifest all of them at will. It stands to reason to have this level of soul. Should have become Emperor Wu long ago. But there is always a limit, and he is never allowed to continue to break through. It made Sha Feng think that the upper limit of the world is like this. The realm of Emperor Wu does not exist at all. Aura, Sha Bufin was stunned for a moment, and some did not understand what the other party was saying. However, it can be seen from Sha Feng's expression that it is definitely not a good word. HMPH, when you're about to die, let's see how hard your mouth is. After speaking, Sha Bufin wanted to start. He can't wait to completely step on Sha Feng, the existence that he could only look up to at the beginning. Sir, wait. Suddenly, a shout came from a distance. Everyone looked up and saw 6 supreme powers and more than 30 martial kings rushing over. No superfluous nonsense. After arriving, they first bowed to Sha Bufin. My lord, where does a sinner like this need you to do it yourself? We are willing to help you. Yes, my lord, leave him to us. We promise to do it beautifully. I just heard that there are many people here criticizing you, they are all kicked. Not only these people, their family members, friends, all have to die. Everyone you speak, I speak. It was very easy to sentence the entire Salt Lake City to death. Shameless. I feel so sick for you. It didn't appear when the beast horde broke out just now, and now you are still talking like this. Are you still human? Even if I become a ghost, I won't let you go. The president of the council is running away, and there is a chance to avenge us in the future. For a time, the entire battlefield was boiling. Everyone, including Sha Bufin, chose to ignore the shouting of the soldiers below. They just spread out silently and surrounded Sha Feng. The wailing of a group of defeated dogs is nothing but their concern. They have heard a curse 100 times more vicious than this. The results of it, they are not alive and well. And those stinky guys can't even keep a whole body. At this moment, Sha Feng suddenly sighed. I said, what is it that makes you think that this guy has me? Sha Feng's face gradually turned cold. If you lick the wrong object, you will die. Don't you know such a simple truth? Mind a move. A fat outrageous helicopter appeared behind him. With the sound of huge electric turbines, their lower abdomens began to open. Just like Transformers, the armor on both sides of the abdomen is first opened. The unfolded abdominal compartment itself is a bracket, with 4 cuboid metal boxes hanging on each side. Under the control of Skynet, a large amount of white mist was sprayed around the metal box, which was liquid nitrogen used to cool down. Then, the metal box suddenly cracked and decomposed into dozens of metal pillars. They hovered silently in the air, with energy ripples flickering around them. That is the overflow phenomenon that occurs when the energy is highly concentrated. Floating guns are ready. Target locked. Waiting for the next order of the Supreme Master. Floating gun, also known as wireless unmanned remote attack laser weapon. It is equipped with an independent propulsion engine, target tracking system, beam cannon and control system. It may be controlled by humans to do auxiliary attacks, or swarms of autonomous robots can attack targets by themselves. Due to technical limitations, Sha Feng cannot achieve normal temperature superconductivity for the time being. Therefore, before the floating gun can be activated, it needs to stay in a special metal box and wait for it to wake up. Use this for as long as possible. Looking at the strange existence in front of them, the people who were clamoring to kill Sha Feng for Sha Bufin's help were too frightened to move. They are very sure that this thing is a new type of weapon that the other party has never used before. Although I don't know it, anyone who has seen the steel monsters in the Scarlet Council will be jealous. It is true that with the speed and mobility of King Wu, as long as he is not stupid enough to stand still and let the opponent fight, the probability of death is extremely low. However, no one can deny that those who look very strange indeed have the ability to kill them. Even the strongest can't support it for too long. Based on this idea, No one dared to move for a while, and even his breathing subconsciously slowed down. Just kidding, a weapon that can be taken out in such a situation. Or just plain bluffing. Or it's just too powerful. Obviously, Sha Feng, as a supreme powerhouse, absolutely cannot be the former. Sha Bufan, who just came out of the place of inheritance, is not aware of everyone's concerns. With some doubts, he glanced at the many martial kings who suddenly turned into wooden people. HMPH, a bunch of trash. Sha Bufan snorted unhappily. He is not an idiot, of course, he can feel that everyone is afraid of those new monster metal objects. However, he didn't think those things would be stronger than his own quasi-martial emperor. Forget it, I didn't expect these guys anyway. Sha Bufan withdrew his gaze, and the blood energy in his body that had undergone transformation and had an incomparably majestic amount began to pour out frantically. The undisguised killing intent made the sky begin to change color. The gods were furious. At this moment, Sha Bufan feels that he is the god who controls the world. Do you regret not killing me when I was weak? I want to pay back all the humiliation I've ever done. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Sha Feng. The villain died of too many words. How can you, the protagonist, have this problem? Sorry, I'm in a hurry. Randomly waved. In an instant, the floating cannons behind him lit up. Do you think you can handle me with just those toys of yours? I am Emperor Wu. Emperor. After watching a flash of flicker, the head disappeared instantly. The corpse was hit hard on the ground. The brains of everyone on the scene are in a state of downtime. Especially those martial kings. What a joke. Really. That is the legendary martial emperor who can shatter the void and build a country with one person. With such an existence, how could he possibly lose to King Wu? It's like Wu Zong defeating Wu Wang in a duel. It's simply impossible. And even if they want to die in battle, it shouldn't be that the two sides will be shattered and the sun and the moon will not shine. In the end, the two sides had no choice but to come up with a life-threatening stunt with great side effects. In the end, one died and one was seriously injured, or even perished together. What the hell is solving the battle in this second now? Impossible, absolutely impossible. All this must be an illusion, we are all ambushed by the enemy. Pop, someone slapped him hard, looking at the back molars in his hand, and the unbearable pain in his mouth. The man was lost in thought. Unlike these martial kings, those soldiers in the defensive position, after a brief silence, began to cheer wildly. Long live the President of the Council! Long live the Scarlet Council! Ha ha ha, it's good not to die. Just pretending at this level, bah. The President of the Council is so powerful, we will definitely win. Quote. The soldiers were all ready to die. Unexpectedly, the new guy who appeared was a paper tiger. The pomp is not small, but the level is average. In the hands of the head of the parliament, he didn't even hold it for a second. Even worse than the previous Xeon monster. After all, that ugly thing fought back and forth with the president of parliament for a few rounds. Of course, there were also some Wuzong who vaguely guessed the truth. But the more you know, the more in awe of Sha Feng. Even Martial Emperor can kill in seconds, it is hard to imagine how powerful the president of the council is. After Sha Bufan died, the Xeon-level monsters under his control gradually recovered their sanity. It's just that the first thing they do after Su Xing is not a crazy attack. Instead run away. Life instinct on madness alert. Danger. Die. Must stay away. The idea is very good, but unfortunately in front of the floating cannon, even escaping is an extravagant hope. The special laser beam attack of the floating cannon, although not reaching the speed of light. But at this distance scale, it is no different from the speed of light. After handing those monsters to Skynet, Sha Feng's eyes fell on the martial kings at the scene. Obviously did not use any means, just looked at it lightly. All Wu Wang collectively trembled. Without the slightest hesitation, under the leadership of one person. Everyone knelt down together. Please forgive me. Time flies. At this time, 3 months have passed since the beast tide occurred. Recalling what happened during this time, the residents of Salt Lake City seemed to be in a dream. First, there was a super large beast horde with a scale of hundreds of millions, and then a large number of martial kings appeared, and even the legendary martial emperor appeared. The most terrifying thing is that they seem to be hostile to the Scarlet Council. It stands to reason that no matter what it is enough to destroy the Scarlet Council. But the final result is, the beast tide was wiped out, the martial emperor was killed in an instant, those martial kings descended, and they died. Under the leadership of the great leader, Lord Sha Feng, the Scarlet Council smashed the enemy's conspiracy. Since then, the country has officially entered a new chapter of development. Open double angle bracket road to the rise of the Scarlet Empire close double angle bracket. Sha Feng is not a virgin. He is very clear about the plans of those martial kings at the beginning. Therefore, after dealing with the beast tide, he directly let those people evaporate. Most of them were transformed into puppet warriors, who would rather die than kill them. With the death of these people, their power will naturally become the stuff of the Scarlet Council. This greatly compensates for the population problems of the Red Council. In addition, the biggest gain of the Scarlet Council in this beast tide war is to completely change the people's thinking. After all, the road of martial arts is an extraordinary power, which has been circulated in this world for hundreds of thousands of years. Therefore, it has an indelible influence on people's consciousness. Even if Sha Feng adopts hypnotic brainwashing education, it will not work well. Unless closed training is adopted since childhood, it is almost impossible for people to change their minds in just a few months. And Sha Feng didn't want to waste that time. After all, it takes not 1 or 2 years to cultivate from an early age, but at least 10 years. Although the lifespan of the angels is extremely long, it is not in line with Sha Feng's idea to waste too much time in this world with little development potential. Sha Feng thought of many ways to try to solve this problem. For example, education, weapon demonstration, theoretical deduction, etc. The effect is not very good. On the one hand, people will pretend to accept him because they fear him, and on the other hand, they will devote most of their spare time to martial arts practice. Even if the talent of quite a few of them is really rubbish. But this time, things have changed. The end of the road of martial arts can be instantly killed by technological creations, which is better and which is worse, at a glance. The biggest reason why most people pursue martial arts is not to become a superior person. They are simply insecure and desperate for strength to protect themselves. The future described by the president of the council is very good, but the road of martial arts is the road that they are really familiar with and can see the results of becoming stronger. One is likely to be very powerful, and the other is definitely very powerful. Comparing the two, they will naturally choose the safer one. But this time is different. Sha Feng confirmed with practical actions that the new path to becoming stronger he proposed was stronger than the path of martial arts. You don't even need to develop to the end, you can easily destroy the king of martial arts. In this case, anyone with a little brain knows how to choose. For a time, the various cram schools opened by Sha Feng were full. Everyone can't wait to have the kind of power that can instantly kill the emperor. There are even many wuzongs in it. They also want to know, how can something that they have cultivated for decades be inferior to a pile of dead objects? Does the opponent have any weaknesses? Regarding the changes in the residents of Salt Lake City, Sha Feng only paid a little attention to it, and didn't ask any more questions. His main focus was on other things. Those monsters outside the city did not appear out of thin air. If you want to form a beast tide, you need to gather monsters from other places. This time, I killed hundreds of millions of monsters in one breath, and directly killed 80% of the monsters within a radius of tens of thousands of miles. The remaining ones, under the siege of Salt Lake City, have basically disappeared. For a time, all the forces within this range were suddenly confused. Can't see the monster outside the city. Even if you try to find it, you can't find it. Occasionally encounter a few monsters, and after seeing human beings, not only is it not as brutal as in the past. Instead, he ran away as if he had seen a ghost. And the more I see ordinary people, the more scared I get. After dealing with the threat, Sha Feng immediately began to make a drastic transformation. As he continued to improve Salt Lake City, he also selected several mineral-rich and environmentally friendly sites to start building a second, third, and even fourth megacity. Strictly speaking, Salt Lake City's location is actually not ideal. It's just that its historical significance is different, and the situation at that time forced it to build vigorously. It is only suitable for places similar to the imperial capital. In 3 months, Sha Feng collected all the forces that could be found within a radius of 10,000 miles. The transformation of the transformation, the education of the education. In the case of heinous crimes, public trials will be held from time to time to unite the hearts of the people. In the end, the Scarlet Council became a superpower with a population of 50 million and an armed force of 1 million. Internal meeting of the Red Council. You said you were going. Where are you going? Hearing Sha Feng's words, everyone was at a loss. The Scarlet Council has a great business, and it was created by Sha Feng. Where can it compare to here? I can feel that my cultivation base is almost unstoppable. This world does not allow the existence of the martial emperor level. Sha Feng explained half-truths and half-truths. This information was obtained from Sha Bufan. Once promoted to martial sovereign, one cannot stay in this world for too long. The will in the dark will force the broken void. As for the future development of the parliament, I will make arrangements in advance, but you can't be dogmatic. In special circumstances, you need to know how to adapt. Before waiting for everyone to speak, Sha Feng directly stretched out his hand to stop the actions they wanted to persuade. Don't talk nonsense, I'm not leaving tomorrow. Everyone here is people I trust. In the next time, I will give you special training. The future of the council is in your hands. Looking at Sha Feng's eyes, everyone was speechless for a long time. Finally, he nodded heavily. 1 year later, Sha Feng resigned from the post of parliamentary president. Do you remember what I said to you back then? The Scarlet Council will never become someone's private power, it will always stand on the side of the people. In order to smoothly hand over the Mechanical Legion, Skynet specially split into a sub-body. Stored in a supercomputer in Salt Lake City. The Scarlet Council can pass it to command the Puppet Army and the Mechanical Army. In addition, Sha Feng also left behind countless technologies. It even includes floating artillery building technology. Hey, can't these things really be brought back? Sha Feng looked at the data collected by Skynet and felt a little distressed. That is dozens of mechanical legions, and the technology is slightly upgraded, and it is enough to start a world war in a world. It's really reluctant to give up now. Especially the set of floating guns, that thing is the love of everyone who has a Gundam dream. Imprint of Tongtian. In different worlds, the laws are not used, and there is no point in taking them back. The expected answer made Sha Feng sigh helplessly. One last look at Salt Lake City. Thousands of thoughts flashed through my mind. Return. After tens of thousands of years. Imperial capital, Salt Lake City. What everyone sees now is a sculpture of a great leader. It was built by the second leader of the Republic, and it was a handmade sculpture. A teacher-like person pointed to a towering sculpture in front of him and explained it to the students. Student, as Master Sha Feng really is legendary as he is, with extraordinary force and wisdom. I'm usually too busy with my studies, and I don't have time to practice martial arts at all. That's for sure. Everything about Lord Sha Feng is clearly documented, and countless archaeologists have long confirmed this. Then does he really know everything? In that wild age, many technologies simply did not have the conditions for research. It's a good question, and it's the most mysterious part of the leader. So far, there's no reasonable explanation. Maybe, he is really just like the folklore, a god sent by God to save us. Welcome back, 9527 Angel Passer. Evaluation settlement in progress. The same feeling, the same time-space disorder. When Sha Feng regained consciousness, he was already in the Tongtian Tower. No, strictly speaking, he didn't even know if he had lost consciousness. Just like the frame skipping of a movie, the last second is still in another world, and the next second is already in the Tower of Babel. Sha Feng frowned and recalled carefully. As a result, no abnormality was found in the brain. Everything seemed so natural. Feeling a little bit about the greatness of the Tongtian Tower, Sha Feng put this problem behind him. The Babel Tower can even control the time, so the space is naturally no problem. Just at this moment, the voice of the Tower of Babel sounded again. Evaluation settlement completed. Complete basic tasks, kill 1000 monsters, and get AD level rating. Reward 5000 Tongtian points. Optional quest. Change the fate of the Sha family's demise, complete 60%, and get AB level rating. Reward 20,000 Tongtian points. Sha Feng was mentally prepared for this result. Although the people of the Shah family have not disappeared, he himself is a member of the Shah family. But in a sense, the power of the Shah family has indeed perished. Sha Feng suspects that if it weren't for the influence of the Shah family, it would expand infinitely because of his existence. Not even 60% completion. It's the same sentence. If you want to take advantage of the Tongtian Tower, dream. Create the only force. Scarlet Council, get an A-level rating. Reward 50,000 Tongtian points. Overkilled monsters, the total number, more than 140 million, received an A+ rating. Reward 100,000 Tongtian points. Seeing this prompt, Sha Feng's bowels are regretful. He killed those monsters outside the city. The main purpose was for the Soul Thirst ability. As for the rewards of the Tower of Babel, he thought that even if there would not be many. After all, those monsters were no threat to him. Even such a weak chicken can get me so many rewards. If I had known, I would not have come out so early. As long as there is enough time, Sha Feng has the confidence to destroy all the monsters in that world. By that time, there will not be enough Tongtian points to end the flowers. Of course, this can only be imagined. The reason is very simple. The basic task given by the Babel Tower is, kill 1,000 monsters, and after completing it, you can get 5,000 Babel points. According to this ratio, kill 140 million monsters. A total of 700 million Tongtian points can be obtained. But now there are only 100,000, not even 1%. It is conceivable that if he really killed all the monsters in the world, those monsters killed in the later stage may not be included in the evaluation calculation system at all. With the boundless power of the Babel Tower, such a low-level mistake will never be made. Although Sha Feng didn't know why the Tongtian Tower arranged for them to come to another world. However, if you look at the equivalent of what you get and what you pay for, the things he imagined are absolutely impossible. Sha Feng retracted his thoughts and continued to look down. Directly cause the awakening of the soul of the nation, guide civilization to God level, and obtain S level evaluation. Reward Tianpogo 1, Quantum Energy Transmission Technology, double the points of the sky. Optional mission. Kill the Son of Luck, complete. Obtained SS grade evaluation. Drip. Discover potential seeds. The evaluation system is being adjusted. Please select a reward. Choose one of three. 1. Law Analysis Chaos Algorithm. 2. Tongtian points 1 million. 3. Origin Machinery Upgrade. Reasonable evolution direction can be proposed. The sudden change of Tongtian Tower made Sha Feng slightly stunned. After he saw the three options clearly, he took a deep breath. Only children make choices, adults of course want all of them. Of course, this is pure hilarity. At least with Sha Feng's current strength, he is not qualified to negotiate with the Tongtian Tower for the time being. He can only guess whether the other party is benevolent or malicious. The purpose of the Babel Tower's existence is really puzzling. With a slight sigh in his heart, Sha Feng quickly packed up his mood and began to analyze the reward options one by one. Option 1 looks tall, but the content is actually quite simple. Using the Law Analysis Chaos Algorithm, can speed up the analysis speed of physical laws. For the Stormtrooper mechanic, it means that the early dangerous period can be shortened. The sooner the physical laws of another world are completely analyzed, the sooner the techniques mastered by the mechanic can be applied to actual combat. Otherwise, they can only rely on the source machinery and some special means to fight against others. For the average mechanic, this choice doesn't make any sense. Anyway, their source of strength mainly relies on the source machinery. But for Sha Feng, the temptation of this thing is undoubtedly 10 stars. In the previous world, if he could parse out all the laws of physics from the very beginning, the strength increase may be even greater. Option 2 is nothing to talk about, 1 million Tongtian points. This number is more than the sum of the Tongtian points obtained by the 2 summer winds. Don't say that Sha Feng is just a newcomer, even if it is replaced by a veteran angel. Believe it is impossible to ignore. Anyone can become a demon for this huge sum of money. As expected of an SS level evaluation reward, Sha Feng subconsciously clenched his fists. I really want to have them all. After finally taking his eyes back, Sha Feng looked at the third option, which was also his favorite choice. For a mechanic, the source machine is always the most mysterious, important and powerful trump card. This is like the magic weapon of the cultivator's life. Before the strength is not strong enough, everyone will try their best to hide its specific information, such as attack method, attack power value, special function, and so on. In some low-tech civilizations, experienced commanders always like to say something. War is fought with poor information. The location of enemy troops, division of arms, attack targets, logistical routes, etc. As long as you master these, you can increase your winning rate by at least 30%. That is to say, if the difference in strength was originally 37, when one side opened the full map view, the dominant side would instantly reverse. The same principle applies to the angels. It is precisely because of this importance that it is extremely difficult to upgrade the source machinery. In addition to the need for a large number of Babel points, various materials and technologies are also required, and even special tasks arranged by the Babel Tower are required to obtain the assistance of the Babel Tower. Even so, it may not be able to meet the requirements 100%. The final result depends on luck. It is no exaggeration to say that if Shefeng sells the third option, there will definitely be countless bigwigs who will spend huge sums of money to snap up. You must know that not all angels who have obtained SS-grade evaluations can get this treatment. Original machinery upgrade, reasonable evolution direction can be proposed. What is this concept? Babel didn't even ask Shefeng to prepare any materials or related technologies. This kind of feeling is like a local tyrant giving a gift without asking anything. Just throw out a black card. Take it, buy whatever you want, just brush it. What is pride? That's called pride. It is also the terrifying existence of the Tongtian Tower that spans the heavens and the world and has countless angels to serve it can boast such a sea mouth. Otherwise, even a giant who has experienced hundreds of times would not dare to say that. After all, each angel has a different route to becoming stronger. Even if there is a super god level existence qualified to use the Zushan sword as a kitchen knife, it may not be able to understand the working principle of nano-robots. Not to mention helping it transform and upgrade it. To take a step back, even if there are really big tech giants, the other party will definitely not be able to fulfill the reward promise of the Babel Tower. Don't ignore the note after the reward. Reasonable evolution direction can be proposed. The meaning of this can be understood as VIP customization. As long as it is reasonable, it can evolve. This treatment is simply invincible. It is tempting to analyze the chaotic algorithm of 1 million Tongtian points and laws, but compared with the original machine that can be upgraded in a targeted manner, it is insignificant. Thinking of this, Shefeng closed his eyes and gritted his teeth, confirm the third reward. At the same time, he transmitted the best plan deduced by Skynet to the Babel Tower through the imprint of Babel. In an instant, Shefeng only felt an invisible energy pouring into his body. Trillions of nanobots huddled together under that energy. The internal structure began to undergo earth-shaking changes. The total reward for this time travel, 350,000 Tongtian points, Tianpo Fruit 1, Quantum Energy Transmission Technology, one chance to directionally transform the original machine. ... No matter how long it takes to come to the world, the main world is only 1 hour. I didn't feel anything in the trial square before. This time is completely different. A few years after he came to the world, he came back and found that the water in the kettle on the table had not cooled down. The strong sense of disobedience made Shefeng a little lost for a while. In fact, Shefeng's abnormal reaction was already relatively mild. Some descendants have been in another world for so long that they almost forgot their identities in the end. After they returned, they couldn't accept the reality at all. Either sink or go crazy. Furthermore, the lifespan of the angels is very long, but there are limits. Someone once made statistics, and the Babel Tower gives each person an additional 50 years of life at most. These times are mainly to help the angels get through the early stage smoothly. Once it exceeds 50 years, you can only rely on the angels to find a way to prolong the lifespan. It should be noted that although the Babel can manipulate the flow of time, but the time that comes to the world will also act on the angels. Therefore, it is definitely not feasible to use the time difference between the main world and the descending world to prolong life. Take back your mind, and the imprint of Tongtian indicates that there is new news. After opening it, I found that it was sent by my friend Fan Zhaoming. Invite me to the party. Sha Feng's face was a little weird. According to what Fan Zhaoming said, all those who passed the trial this time are on the invitation list. The organizers are a big family of geniuses. The opponent's first arrival also received an S-rank evaluation. And the awakened profession is the cursor profession with great potential. That's not a useless profession like a mechanic. Its combat effectiveness, development potential, comprehensiveness, adaptability, etc., are all at the top level. Sha Feng, I know you don't like this kind of occasion, but I heard that there is an internal trade fair this time, maybe you need what you need. After becoming extraordinary, although he has left the category of ordinary people. However, such things as human beings are not only needed by ordinary people. In other words, the transactions and intrigues between angels will be more serious and cruel than the workplace. The former will at least not die. Noon tomorrow, right, I see. The exhausted Sha Feng ate something casually, then fell back to sleep. For him, the second coming was no danger. However, the fatigue of the soul is unavoidable. In the coming world, any negligence may result in death. An experienced angel who sleeps with one eye open. Time passed, and the night was silent. Sha Feng slept until 9 a.m. the next morning before getting up. After breakfast, Sha Feng opened Tongtian Mall again. After a few minutes, gone. You earn more than last time, why do you feel like you are still a poor hang? Sha Feng smacked his lips and suddenly regretted it. If I knew this earlier, the reward would be 1 million Tongtian points. Just skip those products that look awesome but have impressive prices. Find the tech category. Introduction to Elementary Biological Civilization Technology, Exchange Requirements, 100,000 Tongtian points. After the evolution of the source machine, Sha Feng has another development route. Matter, energy, living things go hand in hand. If others knew about Sha Feng's ambitions, they would definitely scold him for daydreaming. Whether it is an extraordinary system or a scientific and technological system, they all pay attention to specificity. For example, in the profession of physical training, their core is always on their own body. It's not a big problem if it is supplemented by means of equipment repair, or by means of law repair. But those things can only be used as an aid, mainly used to improve their survivability. The development route of Shefeng is obviously different. He is planning to develop 3 routes together. Anyone's energy is limited, trying to get more, the final result is often nothing. Of course, Sha Feng knew this truth. But he didn't care. In other words, he didn't feel that he was a distraction. In the eyes of others, his strength lies in the profession of mechanic. But only Sha Feng knows that his true strength lies in his soul fused with Skynet. Everything he did was to maximize Skynet's advantages as much as possible. No matter how many routes are developed, or what professions are awakened, as long as this principle is not violated, then there is no problem. Time soon came to noon. Sha Feng, you are too slow. Isn't it an appointment for 11 o'clock, it's still 10 minutes away. Sha Feng looked at the time and replied casually. It's said to be 11 o'clock, but most people are early. Forget it, I can't tell you this guy. Hurry up, I heard that the organizer this time is the Wang family, then we are the richest family in Yingtiancheng. If we can lead the other party, we will not take off in the future. After Fan Zhaoming became an extraordinary person, he regained his talkative physique again. Sha Feng soon got a lot of information about this gathering from him. Every year the Wang family holds a similar gathering. As a result, you can form a good relationship with the newcomer. The chance of success in the future for a commoner-born angel is very low. But the existence of the Tower of Babel has invisibly reduced the gap between ordinary people and great forces countless times. In case a miracle occurs in the invited crowd, for the Wang family, that is a huge profit. Taking a step back, even if there is not such a super genius, the Wang family still needs cannon fodder. Second, the transaction. As Fan Zhaoming said, this gathering will have an internal trade fair. For the first trial, the Tower of Babel often gives newcomers some benefits. This is also reflected in the final evaluation reward. The Wang family can just take advantage of this opportunity to grab a bargain. In fact, it wasn't just the Wang family who participated in the trade fair. Many people from other forces will also participate, which even includes the official one. After all, there is no limit to the desire for extraordinary treasures. Up to now, the importance of the trade fair has surpassed the gathering itself in a sense. Soon, Sha Feng and Fan Zhaoming came to the meeting place. A huge estate on the outskirts of the city. The poor live in buildings, the rich live in villas, and the rich play in manors. Just looking at the decoration, you can realize what is called the happiness of the rich. Ordinary people can't understand. Covering an area of more than 10,000 square meters, there are small bridges, flowing water, and ancient castle sculptures. A private clubhouse has also been purpose-built for special purposes. The venue for this meeting is in this private clubhouse. As Fan Zhaoming said, although the time has not yet come, the people have basically arrived. It's almost nothing like the two of them stepped on it. Look, isn't that the rookie who got the S-rank rating? He is also called S-class. It's just a hammer deal. Mechanics S-rank, tisk tisk tisk, what a pity. People are more popular than people. We struggled to get a B rank, but others easily got an S rank. I really want to know what reward he got. Then you change careers with him. Let him reward you. That's fine, I still understand the difference between a full meal and a full meal. When it comes to S-rank rewards, Wang Gongzi is the real powerhouse. That boy is just a joke. Quote. At this time, it was less than a week before the trial came, and it was naturally impossible for everyone to forget the celebrity of Sha Feng. In fact, before Sha Feng arrived, the topic that many people discussed was him. The first trial came and got an S-grade rating, let alone a commoner. Even in a big family, such an existence is rare. It is worth the effort of the family to cultivate. Listening to the criticisms from the people around him, Fan Zhaoming squeezed his fist and turned back. But he was pulled by Sha Feng. He shook his head. The dog barks at you, just turn around and find a chance to kill it. There's no need to waste words with beasts. Sha Feng did not hide his voice. In addition, after everyone awakened their profession, their physical fitness has been strengthened to varying degrees. Therefore, everyone around heard his words. You. The crowd glared angrily. A spicy chicken mechanic who has no future, dares to scold them beasts in person. Ha ha, do you really think that you are invincible if you get an S-rank evaluation? If it wasn't for the face of the Wang family, they would have to educate each other now. What is called calamity out of the mouth? At this moment, the organizer of this gathering, the eldest son of the Wang family, came over. Reach out. Hello, I'm Wang Aoshan. Sha Feng looked at each other in surprise. I thought that this eldest son of the Wang family was here to trouble him, but the other party turned out to be so polite. Reach out and don't hit the smiling man. Sha Feng nodded and shook hands with the other party. Hello, my name is Sha Feng. Quote. Seeing the two people talking happily, including Fan Zhaoming, everyone at the scene was stunned. Are they crazy, or is the prince crazy? That's a mechanic. There is no development potential, and the upper limit can only reach 3-star pass Angel's useless combat career. In a way, its development potential is not as good as some purely auxiliary occupations. The Tower of Babel will give different star ratings to the angels, from low to high, based on factors such as their occupation, combat power, number of arrivals, and evaluations obtained, with a total of 10 stars. After 10 minutes, Sha Feng, you are hiding so deep. Fan Zhaoming looked at him with contempt, as if, you can't hide it from me, hurry up and confess. Rolling his eyes silently, Sha Feng said lightly, stop dreaming, it's the first time I've seen that guy. I don't believe it. It's not because of relatives. How could he be so polite to you? I don't know, maybe it's because I'm too handsome. You put. Just as he was about to refute, Fan Zhaoming suddenly choked. He looked at Sha Feng's face. Mad, this kid is really handsome. The other side. Son, that guy is a waste mechanic, there is no need to talk nonsense with him. The other party can get an S-level rating, maybe it's just a piece of shit luck. Wang Aoshan. I know. Then how? It's just more pleasing to the eye, and there's nothing wrong with saying a few words. Wang Aoshan smiled lightly and replied casually. Even so, in his eyes, there was a light of unknown meaning. Trash mechanic. If the soul strength of a trash mechanic can be so strong, then I don't mind being a trash for the rest of my life. Because of the professional characteristics, the soul strength of the cursor is very strong. Their attack method is to cast through the soul. As a cursor, his natal curse has special functions. However, when he checked Sha Feng's soul with the curse of his life, he almost suffered a backlash. If the souls of other angels on the scene are stars, then Sha Feng is a star. It is unimaginable that his soul was slightly hurt just by looking at it. If this curse is launched, will he die on the spot in minutes? Thinking of this, Wang Aoshan was secretly proud. Good thing I'm not that stupid. Because of Wang Aoshan's performance, everyone instantly felt that Sha Feng had become mysterious. Some people say that he has a deep background and is the heir of a mysterious family. Some people say that he has a second occupation. The mechanic is just a cover-up, the real occupation is extremely strong. Others say that he and Wang Aoshan have known each other since childhood, and their friendship is unusual. In short, everyone who was sneering at Sha Feng before, suddenly, like a change of person, they stepped forward to get close. Unfortunately, Sha Feng was too lazy to pay attention to those snob eyes. In his view, in this world with extraordinary power, only power is everything. The beast always walks alone, and the cattle and sheep are in groups. Although it was very unhappy with Sha Feng's indifference, everyone could only bear it until they could figure out the specific situation. Finally, before Sha Feng's patience was about to run out, the trade fair has finally begun. The format is simple and everyone who wants to sell will get a booth. If other people like it, they can go forward to talk and pay directly with Tongtian points. The Wang family only provides the venue and security maintenance, and is not responsible for anything else. If you are deceived or have a price problem, you are responsible for yourself. Fan Zhaoming didn't understand. Who else dares to lie here? Wealth and silk move people's hearts. As long as the benefits are big enough, anyone dares to do anything. With the support of strength, the dark side of human nature will be infinitely magnified. Sha Feng even doubted that if a newcomer really took out the heaven-defying treasure, the Wang family will choose to do it themselves. How much is fame and face worth? As long as there is strength, there will be applause for the deer and the horse. Fan Zhaoming nodded as if he understood. Sha Feng wandered around for a long time, but did not find much valuable things. Most of them are sold in Tongtian shopping malls. The sellers also just gave a little discount, hoping to cash in as soon as possible, or barter. Not everyone gets what is right for them. Of course, not everything is spicy chicken. How do you sell this stuff? Sha Feng pointed to a few test tubes. It is marked with the words Zerg Biological Organization. Seeing the guest come to the door, there was a glimmer of joy in the other party's eyes. That thing was brought out by him from the coming world. For 99.99% of the angels, it's a piece of junk. Don't say buy it, don't give it away for free. But for the remaining 0.01% of people, the value of this thing is uncertain. 10,000 Tongtian points, you take the things. The other party obviously knew Sha Feng and knew that he had a lot of wealth in his hands. Sha Feng glanced at the other party without any hesitation. Turn around and go. Fan Zhaoming said in his mouth. I think I'm crazy, and I still have 10,000 points. Why don't you want 100 million? Don't go, you still pay the price. Seeing Sha Feng behave like this, the other party hurriedly ran out. 100, don't want more. Okay, 100 is 100. Mosquitoes are meat no matter how small they are. 10 test tubes, anyway, there are 1,000 sky points. Anyway, no cost, pure profit. After leaving that booth, Sha Feng, what's the use of you wanting this thing? You can't use it again. Angels can bring out the things that come into the world, but as I said before, because of the differences in the laws of physics in different worlds, those things are completely useless in other worlds. Therefore, most descendants obtain treasures in other worlds, or use them immediately in that world. Or you have to spend a lot of money to find Babel Tower for transformation. And if you do that, the cost of Tongtian points will be terrifying. From Fan Zhaoming's point of view, Sha Feng's behavior just now was like throwing Tongtian into the water. Don't worry, you won't suffer. Sha Feng responded indifferently. Although Tongtian shopping mall is all-encompassing, it is not everything. And like all official, his price is really touching. If it weren't for the fact that the big mechanic could not be found in reality, Sha Feng would not have gone to the Tongtian shopping mall to buy those technologies. Theoretical knowledge is the easiest to depreciate because of its reproducibility. 100,000 worth of points to buy a bunch of information, just thinking about it makes Sha Feng worry. It's so dark. Just as Sha Feng and Fan Zhaoming were wandering around. In the distance, bursts of exclamations suddenly sounded. I could vaguely hear someone shouting the words 50,000 or 80,000. All of a sudden, everyone rushed over there. Obviously, this is a big deal. Relying on his strong physical fitness, Sha Feng and Fan Zhaoming squeezed all the way to the front part of the crowd. Surprisingly, there was a large open space in front of the stall despite the crowded crowd behind it. Only a few people were there. 120,000, I'm bound to get this treasure. Hee, 120,000 is bound to be won. If you want to dream and go home and do it, I will pay 200,000. Not much nonsense, 300,000, I can still send someone to escort you away safely. I'll pay 330,000. 350,000, quote. In just a few minutes, the price soared from 120,000 to 350,000. Look at this posture, there is a further soaring posture. In such an exciting situation, how could Fan Zhaoming be able to hold back his talkativeness? He pulled the buddy next to him and started talking. Soon, Sha Feng could hear clearly what was going on. Leng Tuking, who appeared out of nowhere, triggered a hidden mission during the trial mission. After finally completing it, you will get a special treasure. This treasure is very distinctive, it is a conceptual treasure. Its role can be simply understood as acceleration. Instead of simply increasing the movement speed, 5 meters per second becomes 10 meters per second. Instead, it can speed up anything. For example, the speed of thinking, the speed of soul operation, the speed of construction, the speed of cultivation, and so on. In theory, it can work in any field. Although doing so will have certain side effects. For example, if the movement speed is too fast, the collapse force and impact force generated will destroy the main body. Speed up construction and workers will collapse and even die from overdrafts. Speed up your thinking, and your brain may get extremely hot because it can't handle that speed. In addition to these side effects, it has a very long cooldown. A full 24 hours. This also means that it is equivalent to a one-time treasure in a short period of time. However, in times of crisis, these can be ignored. As long as you can survive, everything is not a problem. Those who are bidding are also holding this idea. They knew very well in their hearts that if they really wanted no side effects, it wouldn't be their turn to bid here. A real boss has already made his move. In the competition of several people, the price soon came to 400,000. At this moment, there are only 2 people left who have the strength to continue. After a few more rounds, one of them gave a wry smile and quit voluntarily. 460,000 Tongtian points, this number is also an astronomical number for those guys with background. However, he did not wait for Wang Aoshan to laugh. A voice sounded not far away. 500,000. Before the words fell, everyone only felt a huge force coming from behind them, and they fell one after another. Then, someone stepped on everyone's body and walked in. I don't know if it was intentional or uncontrollable, and the people he stepped on vomited blood. Seeing this scene, Wang Aoshan's face changed suddenly. This is the trade fair held by his Wang family, and they are obliged to maintain order and ensure the safety of the people on site. When the other party did this, he was obviously hitting him in the face of the Wang family. Lu Bingtian, don't overdo it. Wang Aoshan stared at each other, the anger in his eyes could not be suppressed. The Lu family, the strongest family in Tang City next door. The overall strength is stronger than the Wang family. And this Lu Bingtian is one of the strongest among the new generation of the Lu family. Occupation: Frost Fighter. Facing Wang Aoshan's threat, Lu Bingtian had a disdainful expression. Hee, there are no dead people, you are calling a fart. After he finished speaking, he went straight to the stall owner. 500,000, sell it to me. Otherwise I guarantee you won't live tomorrow. As if to increase his persuasion, a powerful frost do chi burst out from him. In an instant, the stall owner was pinned to the ground, unable to move. The audience only felt a chill hit. The temperature at the scene dropped by at least 20 degrees. You passed, Lu Bingtian. Even if he was afraid of the Lu family, Wang Aoshan couldn't just sit back and ignore it at this time. Use force to force others to trade at trade fairs. If this matter is not resolved, to put it mildly, from now on, this trade will be a complete joke. In a big way, it means that the Wang family is lower than the Lu family. Concerning the honor of the family, Wang Aoshan could not bear this responsibility. With this in mind, he no longer hesitated. In the depths of the soul, a mutated soul energy poured out. The original black and white eyeballs gradually spread to all black. This is the sign before the cursor attacks. The cursor, using the mutant soul energy to launch an attack. It can make the enemy fall into a series of negative states such as injury, weakness, loss of 5 senses, etc. So as to achieve the purpose of weakening the enemy. If the strength of the souls of the two sides is too different, a powerful cursor can even curse the other party directly. Feeling the threat, Lu Bingtian didn't care to continue threatening the stall owner. Wrapped in frost doqi, he stared at Wang Aoshan. As long as the opponent moves, he will attack at the first time. The war is about to start. On one side is the ice-cold, bone-chilling frost doqi. On one side is the mutated soul energy that cools the body and makes the soul tremble. In the air, 2 coercive forces made everyone on the scene tremble. Obviously, this Lu Bingtian is at least a super genius with an S-rank rating. Sha Feng stood there blankly, as if there was no difference from the performance of the people around him. But if someone looks closely, it is not difficult to find that there seem to be countless numbers beating in his eyes. This is the first time he has really seen other angels fighting each other in front of him. Countless data about Wang Aoshan and Lu Bingtian were collected, summarized and analyzed by him. For mechanics, intelligence is everything. Survival, development, reconnaissance, battle. As long as there is enough detailed information, the mechanic can be an all-around warrior. In the dead silence of the scene, the air pressure is getting lower and lower, and the killing intent gradually emerges from the two people who are facing each other. The conflict between Lu Bingtian and Wang Aoshan is obviously long-standing. And this event is like a spark, detonating the dynamite barrel. Just when Sha Feng thought that the two were about to start a life-and-death fight, Lu Bingtian seemed to hear something. His face changed a bit, and then he pursed his lips in annoyance. HMPH, you're lucky. After speaking, the frost vindictiveness on his body gradually dissipated. Before waiting for Wang Aoshan to understand what was going on, his babble imprint also prompted someone to send a message. After reading it, Wang Aoshan also calmed down and exited the battle state. However, his face was still gloomy. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that this is an outsider's intervention. That's the truth. On the other side, the patriarch of the Wang family is negotiating with the Lu family. The other party obviously did not expect this incident to alarm the patriarch of the Wang family. Although the Lu family's overall strength is stronger than the Wang family. But only a little bit stronger. If a full-scale conflict is really going to break out, the best result will be the same. You know, there are not a few forces who want to see the Lu family fall. Once there is an opportunity, no one wants to take a piece of the pie. Furthermore, this matter was Lu Bingtian's rudeness first. The people of the Lu family don't fight too much. It's just a regular treasure with great side effects, and it's not enough to make the Lu family and the Wang family completely face each other. ... If you can't do it, then go the normal way. Lu Bingtian shouted to the stall owner impatiently. Hey, 500,000, are you selling it? Some poor ghosts can't afford a higher price than me. When he said this, he glanced at Wang Aoshan intentionally or unintentionally. Wang Aoshan gritted his teeth slightly. Gone. He really wanted to tear each other's mouth apart. 500,000 Tongtian points, it's not that he can't get it. But to spend so much of the sky in this place, rationality told him, it's not worth it. Disrupting his plan to become stronger on a whim and ruining the future. Not wise. But, looking at the arrogant look of the other party, he is really unwilling. The stall owner looked at Wang Aoshan and realized that no one would offer a price higher than 500,000. Nodding. Okay, this thing is you. Wait, I'll pay 600,000. Suddenly there was a voice in the crowd. The crowd turned their heads subconsciously. I saw Sha Feng raised his hand high. I like that thing very much, I will pay 600,000. Fan Zhaoming looked at Sha Feng in shock. 600,000 Tongtian points, converted at a ratio of 1 to 1,000, is 600 million value points. That's 600 million. I know you kid has something to hide from me. What is the first time you meet Wang Aoshan, you fool the ghost? I thought everyone was a scumbag, and I was the only one who was a clown for a long time. As shocked as Fan Zhaoming, there were the people around me who were eating melons. Everyone knows the identity of Sha Feng. A mechanic with no development potential. Although he got an S-rank rating in his first advent, most people still look down on him. By the way, can this guy really come up with 600,000 Tongtian points? Impossible. Even if you have an S-rank evaluation, you will definitely not be able to get so many evaluation rewards. He doesn't know, if he can't get enough points in the end, what will happen if he shouts randomly. I think he's crazy. I don't know if he's crazy or not, but I really like that Lu Bingtian's expression. Ha ha ha, you're right, I'm on Sheifeng's side this time. That guy is too arrogant and disgusting. Quote. As everyone said, Lu Bingtian, who thought he had already won it, stretched out his hand to take the treasure, but his face was gloomy and scary at this time. He felt like he was being tricked. The other party doesn't shout sooner or later, but wait until he reaches out his hand to shout. Isn't this clearly aimed at him? Dog thing. He turned his head and stared at Sha Feng, who came out of the crowd. The frost doqi on his body has a stance that is just around the corner. However, what the elders of the family had said before, let him choose restraint. After all, this is not the Lu family site. You paid 600,000, right? I'll pay 610,000. 620,000. Sha Feng did not hesitate and continued to increase the price. 650,000. 700,000. After the number came out, Lu Bingtian narrowed his eyes. Instead of continuing to follow the price, he laughed. I ask for capital verification. I don't believe you can come up with 700,000. Lu Bingtian heard the words of the onlookers before. A scrap mechanic, he doesn't seem to have a big background. How could such a person get 700,000 Tongtian points? That's not a value point used by ordinary people. The latter can also be acquired through business or inheritance. The other party has no other support, and if you want to get enough Babel points, you can only get it from Babel Tower. Want to take out 700,000 Tongtian points after only one advent? Not to mention S-level evaluation, even SS-level evaluation is impossible. Take a step back, even if the other party uses the value points to exchange the Tongtian points. Difficulty is no less than getting from Babel Tower. With such a large amount of exchange to the sky, the ratio is not 1,000. It is conservatively estimated that to obtain 700,000 Tongtian points in a short period of time, at least about 1.5 billion value points are needed. That's 1.5 billion. If you really have so many value points, you will wake up to become a useless profession like a mechanic. Treasures that can be designated to awaken a certain profession are not cheap. But 1.5 billion value points is definitely enough. In short, Lu Bingtian believes that Sha Feng must be making random quotations. Hearing the other party's capital verification request, Wang Aoshan hesitated. To be honest, even though he also hoped that Sha Feng could really take out so many points of the sky, slaying Lu Bingtian's face ruthlessly. However, reason told him, that is not realistic. A commoner with no background, let alone only one advent. Even if you participate 10 times, can you really get 700,000 Tongtian points? If it is found to be a random quotation, according to the rules, Sha Feng will have to pay Lu Bingtian 20% of Tongtian points. If 700,000 is the base, it is 140,000. It was almost exactly the average of the total number of Babel points obtained from the S-rank evaluation. This guy definitely raised the price to 700,000 on purpose. Otherwise, this number would not be so coincidental. Feeling Wang Aoshan's sight, Lu Bingtian sneered. What if he knew he deliberately raised the price? Everything he does now conforms to the rules of the trade fair. Sha Feng voluntarily raised the price with him, and no one could fault it. The surnamed Wang, hurry up and arrange for someone to verify the capital. What are you doing there? Could it be that this person is actually a trust arranged by your royal family? Lu Bingtian deliberately lengthened his tone. HMPH, only your Lu family can do such a thing. Wang Aoshan sneered. Then after confirming Sha Feng's wishes, he took out the communicator and called someone. As the other party said, if you deliberately procrastinate. By then, there was no problem and it became a problem. But I made it clear to you in advance that if he passes the capital verification, you have to follow the rules and pay the other party 280,000. Verification is not something that can be done casually. Because of its obviously insulting nature, in addition to requiring the consent of both parties. The party who proposes the capital verification will have to pay 40% of the bidding price once the capital verification fails. Typical high risk, high reward. I know the rules, you hurry up. Lu Bingtian urged. Wait for the professionals to arrive. According to the process, Sheifeng needs to take out 700,000 Tongtian points, or equivalent goods. And the ownership of these two things must belong to me. This is guaranteed by the Babel Tower, and no one can fake it. Wait to die, waste wood. Lu Bingtian looked at Sha Feng with vicious eyes. To him, it didn't matter whether Sha Feng was dragged by the Wang family or not. Wang family, he has nothing to do for the time being, but Sha Feng, that is another matter. His idea is very simple, first squeeze the other party dry. Then find another chance to kill. No one who dares to oppose him Lu Bingtian will end well. Just when he fantasized about how to kill Sha Feng in the future, the results of the capital verification over there came out. Those people first looked at Lu Bingtian with strange eyes. Then he said slowly, after confirmation, this Mr. Sha can take out 700,000 Tongtian points. As soon as these words came out, the place fell silent. After a few moments, the crowd was in an uproar. Originally, they were all prepared for the failure of Sha Feng's capital verification. After all, that's 700,000 Tongtian points. How could an ordinary person without the support of a big family come up with such a terrifying amount? In fact, even if you were born into a big family, if it is not the key training target, at this stage, it is impossible to take out so many Tongtian points. This is like just graduating from college, and the family gave 700 million to let the children spend it on their own. Even if it is an only child, it is estimated that the family cannot agree. This is impossible. Are you kidding me? Those guys are all from your royal family, you must be lying. I demand that his assets be disclosed. Lu Bingtian's eyes were red, and he shouted a little frantically. He didn't believe that Sha Feng had the financial resources. If the capital verification really fails, he needs to compensate the other party for a full 280,000 Tongtian points. Even for him, this price is too heavy. You know, the sum of his S-rank evaluation rewards is less than 150,000 Tongtian points. Almost twice as much. More importantly, he also embarrassed the Lu family. Lu Bingtian was very aware of his status. He is not the strongest in the Lu family's generation. If such a thing really happens, the days after he go back will definitely be difficult. Enough, Lu Bingtian, stop embarrassing your family. You should know that your request is not in line with the rules. Ask others to disclose their assets. What a joke. You must know that those who are professionally verified have the Babel Tower to ensure confidentiality. For this reason, they need to pay a large sum of Babel points to the Babel Tower every year. The job is not as easy as it seems. Although Wang Aoshan also really wanted to know Sha Feng's true financial resources. However, the rules of the Tower of Babel cannot be broken. I don't believe it, just this hanging wire, it's so possible. I said you're finished. Sha Feng directly interrupted Lu Bingtian's words. Isn't it just a purchase? If you have money, increase the price, and if you have no money, shut up. It's capital verification again, and the assets are disclosed. Rory is just like a girl. I don't want to talk to you, poor idiot, just shut up. Turning his head, Sha Feng took out the heavenly soul fruit from his personal space. He said to Wang Aoshan, this thing, 700,000, do you want it? Everyone looked carefully. That seems to be the heavenly soul fruit. It is the heavenly soul fruit that can wash the soul and enhance the strength of the soul by eating it. Real or fake? Nonsense, it's all this time, how could it be fake? Isn't the price of that thing around 500,000? About 500,000. Come on, I want as much as you have. Treasures that can directly enhance the soul and have no side effects are all premiums. Only a fool will charge the price of the Tongtian shopping mall. You're right, 700,000 is considered cheap. If you really want to release news, there are people who want 800,000. This thing is out of stock in Tongtian Mall all the year round. Tisk tisk tisk, this face hit, snapping sound. Haha, I suspect that others can't get so many points of the sky with my front feet. As a result, when someone throws a king's hand and smashes it in the face, I ask you if it hurts. Quote. Wang Aoshan's heart trembled when he saw what Chu Shaifeng was holding. Such a precious soul-type treasure, Shaifeng is so casually pinching like a ball. Seeing his heart tremble, he was afraid of being broken. Don't care about modesty. Yes, must have. Wang Aoshan was afraid that if he shouted one step slowly, someone else would step in. In fact, some people did move this thought. Well, the things are yours, just transfer Tongtian point to the stall owner. After speaking, Shaifeng directly threw the heavenly soul fruit to Wang Aoshan. Then pick up the treasure and go. As for Lu Bingtian's compensation for capital verification, he believes that the Wang family will handle it for him. Chapter 51. After politely rejecting Wang Aoshan's dinner invitation, Shaifeng directly chose to go home. Before leaving, Lu Bingtian's eyes let him know that the liangzi between them was settled. He must improve his strength as soon as possible. It's not that I'm worried about Lu Bingtian, but worry about the Lu family. Hit the small, come the old. If you can't beat it from the front, you will do some conspiracy behind your back. This kind of plot Shaifeng is too familiar. Rather than wasting time on those people, it's better to grow up quickly and let others retreat. The Lu family dared to attack him now, so would it dare to attack the powerhouse who could easily wipe out the Lu family? The answer is obvious. For Shaifeng, who owns Skynet, the speed of strengthening cannot be described by common sense. With the help of the Tongtian Tower, Shaifeng has the confidence to crush all ghosts and snakes. After washing up a little, Shaifeng began to organize the harvest of this trade fair. 10 test tubes of Zerg biological tissue. Some special food. Some healing medicine. 2 magic scrolls for each of the 5 attributes of gold, wood, water, fire and soil. Regular treasures. Haste orb. 100 units of special materials applicable to all worlds. Except for the regular treasure, rapid orb, which cost 700,000 Tongtian points to buy, other things cost Shaifeng 100,000 Tongtian points. Other things are not expensive, mainly the 100 units of special materials. According to the explanation of the imprint of the sky, this thing can be used directly no matter which world it is in. There is no conflict of laws. Its existence is somewhat similar to the original machinery. The perfect material for mechanics. If you have enough of this material, Shaifeng doesn't even need quick orb. That's right, the purpose of his purchase of the orb of speed is to analyze the physical laws of another world in the shortest possible time. If Shaifeng, before analyzing the laws of physics, had a combat power of 10. Then after completing the analysis, his combat power is at least 1000. Instantly doubled 100 times. It's a pity that the price of that kind of material is extremely high, and the number is still very small. Shaifeng specifically searched the Tongtian Mall and found a very strange phenomenon. There is no price tag for this material. Every time he wants to buy, the imprint of Babel will prompt, insufficient permissions. As for what permissions, he never figured out. Putting aside the distracting thoughts, Shaifeng took out the Zerg biological organization. Infuse soul power into the orb of haste. He has to try it to see how powerful this thing is. Accelerate the deduction of the laws of physics. The things brought out from this other world must be analyzed first. Don't get ready in the main world, wait until you enter another world. Still do this step. At that time, it is equivalent to need to analyze the physical laws of the 2 worlds. Compared with a strange and dangerous world, the main world has officials and the Tower of Babel to suppress everything. As long as they are still in the city, no one would dare to mess around under normal circumstances. This is also the key to Shaifeng daring to confront Lu Bingtian head-on. The other party would never dare to do anything in the city. If you want to do it, you will choose to be outside the city, or come to the world. The former, Shaifeng does not plan to go out in a short time. The danger outside is not inferior to another world at all. As for the latter, Sha Feng is not worthy of any existence of the same level. Time flies, and 3 days passed quickly. The Wang family's work efficiency is very high. On the second day after returning from the trade fair, Lu Bingtian's compensation of 280,000 yuan was already in place. Sha Feng only reserved 50,000 for emergency use. All others are used to purchase various technologies and weapon manufacturing blueprints. Now, the material civilization he has studied the most has successfully reached the limit of the primary civilization. At any time, you can enter the ranks of intermediate civilizations, that is, stellar civilizations that can leave the planet and roam freely in this star system. Open the personal attribute table of Sigil of Babel. Angels through Sha Feng. Number 9527. Tongtian point 50,000. Occupation mechanic. Original machinery nanocells with 3 forms. Star rating 3 stars. Number of arrivals 2 times. Faction chaos. If anyone sees Sha Feng's attribute table at this time, they will exclaim, unscientific. With just 2 arrivals, the star rating can reach 3 stars. What is this concept? You know, for the vast majority of angels, an average of 10 arrivals can increase 1 star, it is already thankful. The further you go, the more difficult it is to increase your star rating. Those people in the same group as Sha Feng couldn't even reach the 1-star standard at this time. Even the Wang Aoshan and Lu Bingtian that Sha Feng met before, at most they have just reached 1 star at this time. Sha Feng's current strength has already opened a huge gap with the angels of the same period. This is also the reason why he doesn't take Lu Bingtian seriously. If the two of them fight, even if they don't use mechanics, just relying on Sha Feng's martial emperor level martial arts cultivation, it is enough to crush the opponent in 10 seconds. With the strength of my soul now, with the help of the orb of speed, it only takes about 1 day to complete the analysis of the physical laws of another world. If you use other treasures, or if your soul continues to grow stronger, this time will continue to be shortened. In other words, I just need to find a way to get through the first 24 hours safely. 24 hours, even if the mechanic's various means cannot be used. Sha Feng also has the confidence to spend it safely. After all, he's not that kind of dog mechanic. Sha Feng specifically asked Fan Zhaoming to discuss, in the eyes of the other party's doubts about life. He pressed it to the ground with just 1 hand. In addition, he obtained 100 units of special materials from the trade fair, and he also used it to make Legion-level energy shield and floating cannon. Except that it cannot be integrated into the body, the startup speed is slightly slower, and the process is more cumbersome. In a sense, they are no different from the original machine. Although it is wasteful to do so. But compared to his own safety, Sha Feng felt that the price was within an acceptable range. 2 for 1 person, no, including the nanocells, 3 original machines. It feels like everything is ready. Sha Feng finally decided to come again. Angel Passer. Sha Yu, ID, 9527. Number of arrivals, 2 times. Faction, chaos, arrival mode, single player mode. World signal receiving, quantum docking, locked into the world, start teleporting. Drop, the use of war shackles has been detected. Advent mode begins to adjust, multiplayer melee. Timeline begins to adjust. After Sha Feng checked the relevant information transmitted by the Tongtian Tower, the corners of his mouth rose. Things went pretty much as he expected. The only difference is that he didn't expect Lu Bingtian's temperament to be so anxious to take revenge so quickly. Of course, it is also possible that the other party did not expect him to come again so soon. After all, for the vast majority of people, it is a relatively normal frequency to come once every 15 to 30 days. Like the summer wind, it comes 3 times in less than a week. Either a fighting lunatic, or an ignorant idiot. After all, digesting and absorbing evaluation rewards also takes a lot of time. Even if you have magical powers in your hands, you have to spend time and energy to practice hard. There is still such a thing as war shackles. It seems that I really have to find a way to find someone to collect some information about the internal angels. War chains. After locking on the target character, you can force the opponent to descend into the same world, and the arrival time is the 3rd month after the opponent enters. Note: the target character will receive a notification that he is locked. After silently entering the data of the shackles of war into the Skynet database, Sha Feng began to check the task given by the Babel Tower this time. Task 1. Kill the orcs * 1000 required. Mission 2. Change the destroyed destiny of Base 2 optional. Mission 3. Change the human battle situation in Lamo Star optional. According to the information given by the Tower of Babel, this world is somewhat similar to the first world, and it is also a doomsday world. It's just that the two are not at the same level, whether it is the area of the disaster or the severity of the battle. Humans in this world have long stepped out of the universe and entered the interstellar age. With the help of cosmic wormholes, the territory of the Human Federation has even reached an astonishing 60 million light-years. During this period, the human fleet wiped out countless weak alien races. Unfortunately, just when human beings feel that they are the children of the universe, the most powerful existence in the entire universe, orcs have appeared. A completely different technology development direction from humans, incredible survivability, reproductive capacity, and destructiveness. Let the territory of the Human Federation shrink to 20 million light-years in just 100 years, which is 30% of the heyday. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that if this trend continues, humanity will perish sooner or later. And the planet called Lamo Star, where Sha Feng came, is one of the planets where the orcs and the human race are at war. Although it is not the main battlefield, the battle is also extremely fierce. Is it just civilian status? This time the start is a bit bad. Sha Feng groaned a little. But he didn't care much. According to the mission, this number 2 base will be destroyed by the orcs in the future. Its own combat power is definitely not to be counted on. And there are identity constraints, but they will be tied. Might as well do it yourself from the start. 3 days later, Sha Feng finally figured out the situation of this base with the help of Skynet. 3 words. Terrible. Base 2 is built on a plain surrounded by vast expanses of forest. Or rather, the greenery all week is outrageous. Apart from oceans and lakes, there are no deserts here. The oxygen content in the air reaches an astonishing 40%. This level of oxygen is simply too high for humans. It is also because of such a terrifying oxygen content that humans need to deal with not only orcs, but also endless huge insects. Can you imagine a beetle growing to 2 meters long and 1 meter wide? It's like a biological version of an armored vehicle. What's even more pitiful is that I don't know if human flesh is more tender. Those insects have a soft spot for humans. Every 3 to 5 years, a worm wave will be launched, impacting the human survival base. In times of peace, humans have air support. A group of relatively large insects, no one cared about it. However, in the time of war, the void of the universe has long been completely blocked by the warships of both the enemy and the enemy. There is simply no material carrier that can get here safely. The weapons and ammunition used in the survival base can only be supplied by a temporary modification factory. However, due to the extreme scarcity of raw materials, ammunition will soon be running out. At that time, with the physique of human beings, even those bugs outside can't be defeated. Not to mention the orcs who can rely on the physical hardtop Gaussian to charge. After figuring out the situation, Sha Feng didn't waste much time. Take advantage of the time when you go out to collect food, and directly leave the main force. No one paid attention to this. A similar disappearance happens every time I go out anyway. It's just that those people didn't leave voluntarily, but were killed by bugs. For civilians, the danger level of this planet is far beyond the acceptable limit. 4 hours later, Sha Feng came to a small valley. The strength of these bugs is about to catch up with the martial artist. He turned his head slightly to avoid the insect attack. Then he raised his hand, and the real martial arts body flashed across the void. That little flying insect exploded into a stump in an instant. In front of Sha Feng, regardless of whether it is a martial artist or a general, the result is the same. However, Sha Feng would not underestimate those bugs because of this. Because there are so many of them. Every time there is an outbreak of insects, it can range from millions to hundreds of millions. And the interval is not too long. Sometimes it can erupt 2 or 3 times a month. There are hundreds of millions of martial artist level bugs. Even with Sha Feng's martial emperor level martial arts cultivation, they can only choose to escape. Take a general look at the environment. That's it. Sha Feng's mind moved, and a nano-mechanical cell permeated out. Change form. Biological mode. Time goes back to when the Babel Tower helped transform the source machinery. The direction of evolution that Sha Feng asked for was very simple. He wanted to transform the nano-robot into a superposition of 3 states. Among the 4 great beasts of physics, there is a cat named Schrödinger's cat. When no one is observing, its state is both life and death, in a superposition state of life and death. And Sha Feng is using the power of the Tower of Babel to break the dimensional restrictions and let the nano-robots evolve into nano-cells with both mechanical and biological states. When there is no special order, it behaves as a nano-mechanical cell. Once requested, immediately transform into nano-biological cells with biological properties. As for nano-energy cells, that is the future evolution direction. Just relying on one evolutionary transformation is not enough for it to have 3 attributes at the same time. For other mechanics, the biggest use of the source machine is the killer. Mainly used to finalize the sound. But for Sha Feng, the role of the source machine is the seed of civilization. In his development plan, when the source machine has evolved to a certain level, no matter what world he is in, he can support the civilization of 3 different evolutionary directions of matter, energy, and biology by himself in the shortest time. Take back your thoughts. Sha Feng watched the nano-biological cells fall into the fertile soil. After a few seconds, countless messages were passed back, including soil moisture, mineral content, organic matter ratio, etc. It only took less than 1 millisecond for Skynet to analyze all the information and then give feedback. At the same time, Sha Feng took out a high-energy crystal. The nano-mechanical cells in the body spread out from the palm, engulfing and breaking it down. With the help of quantum energy transmission technology, that extremely huge amount of energy is transmitted to the nano-biological cells in the soil. Then, a miracle happened. I saw a layer of dark gray mycelium suddenly appear on the surface of the soil that was originally empty. In appearance alone, they are no different from ordinary mycelium. But anyone who watches silently for a while will find that something is wrong. Its adding value is too fast. 1 minute it was just a few sporadic ones, but the next minute it covered a large area of the table. Not only that, but those hyphae were changing color at a rate visible to the naked eye. It was still gray and white before, but with the passage of time, it is developing in the direction of pure black. Sha Feng killed the insects running from a distance and threw their corpses in the direction of the mycelium as nourishment. While looking at the data in Skynet, it's really a Zerg, the core gene sequence can't be cracked at all. As a biological civilization that can rank among the heavens and the world, Sha Feng is naturally envious of the biotechnology of the Zerg. The core of biotechnology is naturally the gene bank. It is rooted deep in the genes of every Zerg unit. It's a pity that Sha Feng can see it, but can't touch it. With his current technology, Zerg combat units can indeed be easily copied through the source machine. However, after deduction, all the copied Zerg combat units are out of control. Not only that, they will spontaneously evolve in the direction of the Mother Emperor. And once the Queen Mother appears, it means that the Zerg is truly born in this unknown universe. Of course, with Skynet's powerful deduction capabilities, it's not entirely without gain. Cell super fast value added technology, biological gene extraction technology, trace element condensation technology, biological energy limit utilization technology, biological light energy limit conversion technology, etc. These are all analyzed through the 10 tubes of Zerg biological organization. Invisibly, it is equivalent to saving at least 150,000 Tongtian points for Shaifeng. Since you can't copy it, create it yourself. The goal of Sha Feng's arrival this time includes collecting enough biological samples to enrich the gene bank. Therefore, he was very interested in that orc. To be able to fight against humans who have developed into interstellar civilization, no, it should be to crush human civilization. The other party is definitely not simple. If you can copy it perfectly and bring it into your control. It is not a dream to leap to the pinnacle of intermediate civilization. Of course, those are later stories. The most important thing now is to get a foothold on this planet first, in order to help the biological army take shape as soon as possible. Sha Feng personally took action and hunted creatures on this planet everywhere. In addition to powerful and ferocious insects, strange plants, lichens, and even rice grain-sized parasites are all within his target range. Every 24 hours, he would also use the Orb of Speed to assist Skynet to conduct accelerated analysis of the collected genes. Time flies, and in the midst of busyness, time has come to the 30th day after the arrival of the summer wind. At this moment, the original valley has undergone earth-shaking changes. Looking around, except for the towering trees, all other plants have disappeared. Instead, a pitch-black fungus layer on the ground. The sun shines on it, like shooting into a black hole. There is not even a trace of reflection. That is the embodiment of the energy conversion rate of photosynthesis is close to 100%. This is higher than the photosynthetic energy conversion rate resolved from Zerg genes. That gene was extracted by Sha Feng from some kind of strange moss. Don't look at the inconspicuous energy in sunlight. That's because the coverage area of the bacteria layer is still small. Skynet has calculated that as long as it covers an area as large as a football field, when the sun is full, the energy that can be converted per hour is equal to one high-energy crystal. A football field has such a production capacity. What if it covers an entire planet, or even directly builds a biological Dyson sphere to surround the stars? Except for the black fungus layer. There are also a lot of drum kits on the ground. The exoskeleton gene of beetle number 1, the muscle tissue gene of creature number 4, the neural response gene of flying insect number 18, the dynamic vision gene of reptile no. 66. After a month of exploration and collection, Sha Feng created a total of 2 biological arms. He was too lazy to choose a name, and directly applied the idea of Zerg. 1. Velociraptor. 2. Hydralisk. Of course, although the names are the same, the two sides are different in terms of appearance and combat power. The biological arms created by Sha Feng are obviously more powerful. This is not to say that Sha Feng's current biotechnology is stronger than that of the Zerg. The key to this change is adaptability. The power of the Zerg lies in the absolute number and super survivability. In theory, as long as it is not an extreme celestial body such as the surface of a star or a neutron star, the Zerg unit can survive in any extremely harsh environment, and it is guaranteed to be strong enough to fight. Not only that, but they can use all resources for rapid expansion. The biological arms created by Sha Feng are completely different. True, they are very powerful on this planet. However, this must be based on ultra-high concentrations of oxygen. If you change the planet, they will become soft-footed shrimp in minutes. Skynet had to readjust the genetic sequence to gain combat effectiveness. This is not on the same level as the Zerg at all. But Sha Feng doesn't matter. How long has he developed? To be able to have this level is quite good. If he just started to catch up with the Zerg that has been developing for hundreds of millions of years, then he would really doubt his life. Off topic. Looking at the bulge on the surface of the creep, Sha Feng closed his eyes. All of this in front of us is developed from the original machine as a seed. As such, they can almost be seen as his external avatars. This is even closer than the relationship brought about by the characteristics of the mechanic profession itself. The specific performance is that Skynet can 100% control the operation of every cell of those biological units. For other messengers, this characteristic is meaningless. After all, with their soul strength, it is impossible to withstand the computational intensity brought about by cell-level manipulation. But for Sha Feng, this feature can increase the combat effectiveness of biological combat units by 50%-70%. The original 100,000 troops can now be used as 150,000-170,000. During this 1-month period, 1 million velociraptors and 200,000 hydralisks were hoarded in the valley. The number is not too many, but considering that there is a mixture of research and development and debugging time, the efficiency is already very terrifying. Now that everything is ready to continue, the real expansion can begin. With the order of the summer wind, 1 million velociraptors and 200,000 hydralisks were divided into 1,000 teams and spread around the valley. Their target is any living creature, including, but not limited to, insects, mammals, beasts, and the like. At the same time, the restricted creep that was unlocked began to spread like crazy. Strengthen the utilization of materials and energy to the extreme, so that wherever they go, the land will be deserted. There is not a single plant left, all are decomposed and swallowed. I thought it was enough to deal with the orcs, but now it seems that those bugs are the real threat. According to the data obtained from the number 2 base, the radius of this planet reaches an astonishing 700,000 kilometers, which is 109 times that of the human parent star, and the surface area is astonishing 12,000 times, which is almost the same as the Sun. Such a terrifying size, the ghost knows how many insects there are on this planet. 100 billion gigabit. The 100 million level insect tide can erupt several times a month, which shows how terrifying it is. In short, whether to deal with those bugs, or deal with the orcs, Sha Feng must ensure that he has enough combat power in his hands. It is absolutely impossible for him to change the human war situation on Ramo Star alone. There is no doubt about that. Not to mention martial emperor level cultivation, even martial god level cultivation is useless. Just when Sha Feng was expanding like this, at a distance of tens of thousands of kilometers from Base 2. Human Base 5. At this moment, this place has been reduced to ruins. Countless bugs, beasts, orcs search the ruins for surviving humans. Once found, it will be divided immediately. That's right, it's not the corpse, but the food. Orcs' recipes include humans too. This is also one of the key reasons why humans and orcs absolutely cannot coexist. After all, who would sit down and negotiate with the creatures on their own recipes? Suddenly, a burly orc made a huge roar, and it seemed that he was very excited. After a while, a thin orc arrived there under the escort of a large army. I saw it crouched down and carefully inspected the device in the ruins. Satisfied nodded. It is indeed the power supply device of Base 5. The degree of damage is not large, it can be used after a little repair. With a wave of his hand, the surrounding orcs turned into laborers, some of them were in charge of transportation, and some were in charge of cleaning up the sundries. At this moment, if anyone in the human army sees this situation, they will definitely drop a dozen high explosive bombs without hesitation. Even if the intelligent orc can't be killed, the energy supply device in the ruins must be destroyed. Experienced human commanders know that once the orcs have sufficient energy supply, their numbers will explode in a very short period of time. This has to do with each other's reproductive patterns. The social structure of orcs is very strange. No one knows what planet they were born from, and what they looked like at the beginning. Anyway, the current orcs are all cloned creatures. This race has no gender distinction and no reproductive organs. Every clan is born from the cultivation warehouse. The only difference is that there are very few orcs with super high intelligence and belong to intelligent orcs. They are less capable of fighting, but seem to know it from birth. Once you get out of the training warehouse, you can immediately start commanding battles, building space battleships, and forging various weapons and equipment. The major changes in the orc family are all guided by the intelligent orcs. And other orcs are only responsible for fighting. That is, the fighting orcs who are called cannon fodder orcs by humans. As the name suggests, these orcs have no brains and are only responsible for fighting. All the organs on their bodies exist for the sake of fighting. A stomach that can digest almost everything, 4 lungs, bones with hardness comparable to alloy steel, radiation resistant, skin like cowhide, etc. In theory, on the frontal battlefield, it takes 3 to 5 fully armed warriors to cooperate to kill a fighting orc without injury. On the premise of not using heavy weapons. This is also the key to the decline of mankind. On the ground battlefield, humans often need more than 5 times the force to suppress the orc army. Humans have spent a lot of time trying to figure out the difference between intelligent orcs and fighting orcs. Want to design a secret weapon for intelligent orcs. The result was nothing. According to experts, it is possible that even the orcs themselves do not know why this change occurred during the cloning process. Otherwise, the human race would have been wiped out long ago. It is impossible to last for hundreds of years. In a battlefield commanded by intelligent orcs, the threat of orcs is increased by 10 times. This is no exaggeration at all. Just the line, "Only intelligent orcs can make cloning devices," is worthy of this evaluation. Time flies by. 50 days have passed since the arrival of the summer wind. Human Base 2. Command Center. Support. I want support. Weapons, ammunition, food, medicine, there is nothing here. 4 months. Did your brain get shit? If I can last for 4 months, what nonsense is I talking to you here? Maya hung up the communication angrily. As the commander of base number 2, only she knows how bad the situation at the base has become. There are only 10 bases left in the ammunition reserve for heavy firepower, the weapon damage rate reaches an astonishing 62%, and the ammunition for light weapons has less than 200 bases. You know, according to federal regulations, planets like Ramos. Each base must have at least 500 units of heavy firepower ammunition reserves, and 10,000 units of light weapons and ammunition reserves to qualify. This does not include a series of air power such as transport aircraft and bombers. Peaceful times are so demanding, not to mention that it is not only the infiltrating bugs outside that need to be faced now. And there are orcs who don't know where to hide. If the lack of weapons is just disconcerting, the shortage of food makes people completely desperate. Get the civilians out of the base and risk their death to gather food in the forest outside. If it was a peaceful era, no matter who gave this order, the final outcome would be to be sent to a military court. But Maya had to. The food reserves at Base 2 have long been empty. The soldiers defending the city can barely survive on nutrient solution, but where can the civilians have anything to eat? If you don't go out to find food by yourself, you will end up starving to death. As for letting soldiers give nutrient solution to civilians, even if Maya has the heart, she doesn't have the guts. Every time the insectide and the orcs attacked, almost all the defenders died. The incomparably huge casualties have put them at the critical point of collapse. If it weren't for the option of surrender, the soldiers might have mutiny long ago. Furthermore, not all soldiers of the country can be as responsible as the soldiers of the Dragon Kingdom. The picture of the military and the people as a family can only be staged in the Red Country. As for other countries, the general public reaction to seeing soldiers is disgust. Just as Maya was angry and cursing, the alarm sounded suddenly. D. Found a large-scale life-gathering phenomenon, predicted to be a 2-level insect tide. D. I found a special life signal, the ripples match, and it is confirmed to be an orc. Maya was pale under the constant flashing red lights. Level 2 insect tide, that is, the number of insect tides reaching tens of millions. With the current strength of the base, it is unknown whether it can survive this worm tide. It is even said that there are orcs. At this moment, her mind is full of one word: it's over. There is no need to analyze, unless there is external support now, otherwise, this is a 100% dead end. Hee, I didn't expect my mother to die in such a ghost place. Maya picked up the communicator and planned to say something to it. But after a few seconds, he let it go. She knew very well in her heart that nothing made any sense at this time. With the decline of mankind's frontal battlefield, even if it has the ability to support it, it is absolutely impossible to support such a planet that has no strategic value. In the eyes of those guys in the military, this place may have been completely abandoned long ago. After thinking for a while, Maya tapped a few times on the console. Switch the broadcast to Inside Base 2. Pick up the communicator. I have bad news for you. Maya is very clear that what she should do as the commander at this time is to block the news to prevent riots inside the base. However, it's going to die anyway. She also gave up. No matter how bad the situation is, can it be worse than the city being destroyed? Even if you want to die, you have to let everyone die to understand. Of course, Maya wasn't completely out of her mind. She did not directly say that the base would not be able to hold. Just a brief description of the upcoming insect wave and orc attack. As for how the public reacts, what will be associated with it, then it's none of her business. After the broadcast, it is different from ordinary people. The defenders of the city were very free and easy. In other words, it can also be called life and death bearish. Humans and orcs have been fighting for 100 years, and the quality of the soldiers cannot be said to be strong. But for death, everyone was mentally prepared when they joined the military. Others don't know the status of the base, how can they still not know? The reason why humans have been able to fight against the orcs for so long with such a fragile body. It's not about tenacious willpower, but all kinds of powerful weapons. Without those weapons, humans would be as vulnerable as babies in the face of fighting orcs. The problem is that what the base lacks most now is weapons and ammunition. A Gauss rifle without ammunition supply is not as good as a military shovel. In addition, even the commander walked out of the command center and came to the city wall in person. Everyone knows the meaning here. Under the authorization of Maya, the administrator took out the last treasure, dozens of bottles of fine wine, dozens of barrels of nutrient solution, and some ordinary food. Before you die, you have to eat. Hours passed after the revelry. In the solemn eyes of everyone, the life detector showed that at a distance of 20 kilometers from the base, countless life forms began to charge towards the base. The bug wave has begun. Rumbling. When the insect wave entered the attack range, the super heavy artillery of number 2 base began to show its power. Unlike the artillery of the planetary age, the artillery after high-tech transformation has more power and less recoil. Each shell can leave a huge pit with a diameter of more than 10 meters on the ground. The powerful shock wave turned all the lifeforms near the crater into slag. The lethal range reaches an astonishing 800 meters. It doesn't seem to be big, but if you take the physique of those bugs into account, it's quite terrifying. You know, even if it is a group of lions, in front of those insects on this planet, they are all ants. 120 are easy. That is, the Gauss rifle can kill. It is difficult to break defenses if it is replaced by gunpowder weapons. Under the suppression of the super heavy artillery, the dense insect tide became sparse in an instant. The ground was littered with stumps, and strangely colored blood pooled into small pools in the potholes. Then, under the high temperature, it emits a disgusting smell. It's not a real Zerg after all. Those insects are as crisp as potato chips when faced with heavy fire. If the number 2 base can maintain this level of fire suppression, the insect tide will not even be able to get close to the base's security cordon. Unfortunately, there is no if in this world. After a few rounds of shelling, the 10 units of heavy fire ammunition were exhausted. Maya didn't even leave a point to deal with the orcs. Fire. Maya gave an order, and the Gauss rifles in the hands of the soldiers began to show their power. Under the acceleration of electromagnetic force, those metal balls the size of fingernails flew out of the barrel at an alarming speed and slammed into the bugs. While opening the carapace, take away a certain organ from the opponent by the way. Since no gunpowder is needed to push, the silencer of the Gauss rifle has been greatly enhanced. For a time, the battlefield was full of the sound of objects passing through the air at high speed. Of course, the crazy hissing of those bugs is also indispensable. Not having a high IQ also has the benefit of not having a high IQ. Whether it's the monsters that Sha Feng encountered in the previous world, or the bugs in this world, or the locust swarms of the ordinary world, it seems that only these brainless guys can form an army of monsters who are not afraid of death. 15 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers. The worm tide was hard against the strafing of the Gauss rifle, getting closer and closer to the number 2 base. With their sensitive sense of smell, they can already smell the seductive breath emanating from the human body. This makes the bug tide even more excited. Finally, when everyone emptied the magazine, the fierce hand-to-hand combat has begun. Although the base's city wall is more than 40 meters high. But in front of those crazy bugs, this height is not a hindrance. They overlap each other to form a worm ladder. The bugs scrambled to climb up. Of course, the soldiers will not sit back and watch each other climb up. Alloy swords, military shovels, and even iron rods, the warriors used everything that could be used as a weapon to fight against those bugs. It's not that fighters don't want to use high-tech weapons like laser swords, UHF shock knives, and the like. Mainly in the previous battle, those things were all broken. They lack maintenance parts and can only replace them with the most original and reliable things. Die, you bugs. Kill, kill, kill. Death to lousy. Quote. The frantic screams, the howls before death, and the neighs of insects are intertwined. Merge into a rhythmically symphony of death. And this phenomenon does not only occur in the guard city walls. Inside the base, due to the insufficient number of defenders, some bugs rushed into the city. Rabbits will bite people in a hurry, let alone humans. In times of war, even the will of ordinary people to fight is not comparable to those in times of peace. When they were forced into a desperate situation, they simply risked their lives. If you want me to die, I can't let you live. Just when humans and bugs fought to the point of madness. In Maya's headset, the alarm sounded again. Alert, alert. Discovered orc units, numbers, 1500, 5400, 9200. Looking up, I saw a wave of insects in the distance. A touch of green is very dazzling. Wherever they went, those crazy bugs turned into scum flying in the sky. Insects have less desire to attack orcs than humans. But in the swarm, they will still attack the orcs. Unfortunately, orcs are not vulnerable humans. They basically rely on hand-to-hand combat, and those bugs are not worth it at all. Just like that, he rushed out of the insect wave with such carelessness. Central Brain, send what I said below to the Military Command Center. You guys remember it well. Rondo Galaxy, Ramo, and Maya, commander of Base 2, did not die at the hands of disgusting bugs, but at the hands of orcs. Remember to report the battle hero to my mother. After speaking, she took off the built-in earphone and crushed it. Tightening the alloy sword in his hand, he took a deep breath. You green monsters, come on. Humans live forever. The battle between humans and orcs is like the battle between humans and bugs. The absolute difference in individual strength makes human beings have almost no ability to resist in front of those green orcs. 3 to 5 fully armed warriors, a powerful orc that can only be dealt with at a distance. Now let the soldiers rush to melee with cold weapons. The results can be imagined. Just a face-to-face, the defenders of the city were completely defeated. Except for a very few soldiers with extremely powerful fighting skills, ordinary warriors are no different from babies in front of orcs. Orcs with a height of about 3 meters are like small Gundams. Everywhere he went, whether it was humans or insects, they were all torn to shreds. Ow, the pungent bloody smell makes those orcs even more crazy. They all let out an excited howl. Not far away. Under the protection of the fighting orcs, the intelligent orcs climbed to the top of the city wall to watch the battle. It is the intelligent orc who destroyed Base 5 before. It is his idea to attack the human base with the help of the insect tide. And the purpose of this attack on Base 2 is the same as before, it is also for the energy device in the base. The human army did not know why the orcs attacked this remote planet where birds don't shit. It's not that you have nothing to do. The location of this planet is actually very special. It happens to be at the weak point of space. As long as enough energy is collected, orcs can use special devices to open wormholes. At that time, the orc army will be able to jump directly to the rear of the human army. Cooperate with the main force of the front line to break the stalemate for more than 20 years. In order to successfully complete this task, the orcs spent a lot of money and specially sent 5 precious intelligent orcs to this planet. Due to various accidents, there are only 3 left now. This intelligent orc is one of the best among them. Not just Base 5, there are actually as many as 4 human bases destroyed by him. The intelligent orc took a general look at Base 2. Then reach out. There is the location of the base energy management center. The reason why it led the clan to participate in the battle this time without waiting for the end of the insect wave is to obtain a complete energy device. Compared with the great plan of ethnic expansion, the loss of a little fighting orcs is not a problem at all. Just when it was about to lead the orcs to the energy center. As if there was a sense of induction, he suddenly raised his head and looked into the distance. Behind the swarm, at the horizon, a black wave is coming here. The unusually powerful vision allows the intelligent orcs to quickly see what it is. Dense black beast, sharp claws, elongated skull, exposed tailbone. If there is a traveler present, they will exclaim, alien. Of course, it's not really alien. It is a new biological combat unit created by Sha Feng's synthesis of the genetic sequence in his hand. Behind these aliens, there are tide-like raptors. They are not as fast as aliens, but there are dozens of times more. And a stronger physique. The thick hind leg muscles are almost thicker than the human waist. Before the previous insect wave could react, the army of aliens and raptors rushed into the insect wave. In an instant, the smell of blood on the battlefield has risen by a level. Fortunately, I caught up. Sha Feng sat on a specially prepared raptor. During this period of busy collecting genes, I almost forgot about the number 2 base. In the end, it was Skynet's reminder that he hurried back with the large army. After more than a month of development, Xiaofeng's progress in biological civilization is almost catching up with material civilization. But this is also very understandable. After all, there are Zerg biological tissue samples as a reference. Plus completely unlimited biological experiments. It's normal to progress faster. Today, the area covered by the fungus creep has exceeded 12,000 square kilometers, which is almost equal to 2 Shanghai cities. Alien 2 million, Velociraptor 30 million, Hydralisk 7 million. The later stage, the faster the violent soldiers of biological civilization. Xiaofeng did not specifically build barracks and other buildings like the Zerg. It directly integrates the riot function into the creep. Xiaofeng can produce biological combat units wherever creep goes. I don't know, because after countless killings, the bloody smell of those aliens and raptors is too strong. Or for other reasons. The bugs, who were fighting with orcs and humans, turned around one after another and rushed straight to the rear. It seems that there are their father-killing enemies over there. For this phenomenon, Xiaofeng is also not surprised. Anyway, it is mainly where the biological army appears, and the bugs in the forest are like crazy. At first, he was still interested in participating, but then he felt like throwing up. It seems that as long as the biological army is out of the coverage of the creep, the bugs will fall into madness after sensing the breath. The change in the insect tide immediately attracted the attention of the human warriors. What happened to those bugs? I don't know, I have never encountered such a situation. Look, the bugs are fighting with those black monsters. You said, are those black monsters specially here to help us? I really want to fart, do you think it's possible? It is unlikely that. Nonsense. No, look, there are people behind those monsters. Suddenly, the sharp-eyed warrior exclaimed. Maya immediately adjusted the goggles of her battle helmet to look into the distance. There are actually people. In the distance, Xiaofeng noticed that someone was looking at him, and nodded to Maya with a smile. With his physical quality, he can see far away without resorting to anything. Maya, the other party is very handsome, and the smile is quite kind. But is he really human? If it is a human, how can it stay with a group of ferocious monsters? For a while, various questions popped up in her mind. And all of this can only be turned back and investigated. Maya glanced at the intelligent orcs in the distance with some vigilance. The other party is standing so high, as long as you are not blind, you can see it. At this time, she must have a Gauss sniper rifle, and she must blast the opponent's head with one shot. The value of one intelligent orc is even higher than the value of 100,000 fighting orcs. Pity, she can't do anything. Quietly gesturing to gather all the warriors. The situation at the scene is unknown, you have to wait and see what happens. Ignore the bugs around you that are frantically fighting the aliens. Xiaofeng, who was sitting cross-legged on the Velociraptor, pondered for a while, but decided to go to Base 2 first. He is also not sure what the standard of Babel Tower for the destruction of Base 2 is. It means that everyone living in it is dead. Or does it mean the base command center is occupied? If it's the former, that's fine. According to his observations, the total strength of the orcs involved in this attack was around 30,000. Without the assistance of the insect tide, no matter how strong they are, it is impossible to kill all the more than 4 million people in Base 2 in a short period of time. I'm afraid it's the latter. Xiaofeng can't guarantee that those orcs will stand there obediently, waiting for his troops and the insect tide to decide the winner. The particularity of intelligent orcs is known to everyone in the Federation. In fact, what Xiaofeng was worried about was indeed right. After discovering something was wrong, the first reaction of the intelligent orcs was to speed up their actions. Regardless of the final result, get the energy device it needs first. It's just that Xiaofeng didn't give it a chance. Turning on the Legion-level energy shield, Xiaofeng directly blocked the attack of countless bugs. A jump on top of the city wall. With the arrival of Xiaofeng, the scene suddenly fell into silence. Maya couldn't figure out the situation, so she didn't dare to talk to her. Without the assistance of exoskeleton armor, he jumped up the city wall more than 40 meters high with physical strength alone. It doesn't look like a human at all. If the orcs had never cloned other creatures, she would even think it was an orc disguised as a human. And the orcs, the family knows their own affairs. It's not that the orcs are pedantic and don't clone humans. It is the cloning technology they possess, as if there is some kind of technical blockade, and they can only clone themselves. Therefore, the human being in front of him, no matter what kind of creature it is, will definitely not be his own. Since he is not his own, he is the enemy. In addition, the other party will lead the insect tied away, helping human beings invisibly. This further deepens the disgust of the intelligent orcs for Sha Feng. Ow! Orcs have only one word for any enemy: kill. Sensing the movement of the orcs. Hey, obviously you can live a little longer, why do you have to court death yourself? A cold light flashed in Sha Feng's eyes. At the same time, the sea-like killing intent poured out from the depths of the soul. The surrounding environment is obviously not unusual, but Maya only feels like she has fallen into an ice cave, and every hair on her body is erected. The sense of fear that came from nowhere completely separated her body from her consciousness. Alarm. The strength of life energy exceeds the threshold. Confirmed as a super life form. Please stay away immediately. Repeat. Confirm that it is a super life form, please stay away immediately. The alarm message from the battle helmet brought Maya back to her senses. However, when she heard the content of the prompt clearly, her mentality collapsed even more. Super life form, a strange creature discovered by human beings in the process of exploring the universe. They are extremely rare, and some even have only one. But the strength is unknown. The strongest super life form discovered by the Human Federation, the cosmic giant Godzilla. The height alone reaches an astonishing 2,000 kilometers. It also breathes energy. According to the brain battle deduction, Godzilla has 100% star combat power. Of course, the vast majority of super life forms are not that tough. A considerable part of them can't even survive in the universe, and still belong to planet-level creatures. But it is certain that even the weakest of them are many times stronger than humans and orcs. If said before, Maya still has a glimmer of hope. It is believed that this newly emerged creature has a certain probability of being a human being. So now, she is almost certain that the other party is definitely not the same race. How can human beings become super life? Either from biology or from evolution. None of this is scientific. Sha Feng was not aware of Maya's wild thoughts, and his attention was on the orc warriors. The moment the intelligent orcs decided to do it, the outcome was already doomed. The physique of the fighting orcs is indeed strong. The degree of calcification is called the hard bones of common sense, and it can even resist the slashing of alloy swords. Muscle fibers like steel wire provide more than 10 tons of strength. However, in front of Sha Feng, it was all tofu dregs projects. Under the blessing of blood energy, Sha Feng did not even use the real body of martial arts. Directly used the knife by hand. In less than 3 minutes, slaughtered the guards protecting the intelligent orcs. After capturing the wisdom orc alive, follow his thoughts. The floating cannon, which had been activated for a long time, was suspended in the air. Next second, laser beams fire like raindrops. Under Skynet's control, it is impossible for all targets to escape. Of course, the fighting orcs didn't seem to want to flee either. When they saw that the intelligent orcs were caught, they immediately entered a state of madness and rushed towards Sha Feng. After half an hour, the entire number 2 base was silent. Everyone stared blankly at Sha Feng standing on a mountain of corpses. The brain is down. A few years later, the camera that captured this scene fetched a sky-high price of $10 billion federal dollars. You know, that's tens of thousands of orc warriors. Not tens of thousands of pigs. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, who would dare to say that a human can kill tens of thousands of fighting orcs alone? Everyone will think this is a stupid joke. Movies don't dare to shoot like this. However, it is such a ridiculous thing, and now it really happened. And it happened in front of everyone's eyes. For a while, everyone didn't know how to react. For the mysterious man, no, it should be called a suspected god. Should they bow down now, or negotiate as equals? The eyes of the soldiers subconsciously converge on Maya, who is the base commander. According to federal law, only she is qualified to negotiate with the other party. Maya, not you. She scolded me as the devil who killed me on weekdays, but now I am reminded of something. You fools. Inwardly complaining, Maya still bravely stepped forward. That, Lord God, No, 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 sir, who are you? Maya only felt cold sweat on her palms. Especially when the other party's eyes floated over, she felt that her legs were weaker than the predecessor of Lin Zan and the current one. Perceived the other side's strangeness. Sha Feng slightly restrained his breath. Under the deliberate control, the whole body exudes warm soul fluctuations. Don't be nervous, I'm human too. In myths and legends, there is such a description. The place where the Tathagata came, the golden lotus of morality is everywhere, and all beings in the 6 realms sing praises to Amitabha Buddha. Some people say that this is the heavenly beings paying respect to those who have great merit, but in Sha Feng's view, it is purely a manifestation of the extremely powerful power of the soul. Falsehood becomes true, spirit is tamed. When the power of the soul reaches a certain level, wherever it goes, all things are believers. Of course, Sha Feng's soul power is not that strong. But it is still easy to gain the trust and favor of others with the help of the powerful soul power. Especially in the special circumstances of the battlefield, absolutely powerful force is easy to gain the worship of others. Combining various factors, Sha Feng became the true commander of base number 2 in no time. As for Maya, judging from its appearance, if it weren't for the crowd, she would have wanted to kneel to add Sha Feng. Is the human war situation so bad now? Borrowing Maya's authority, Sha Feng obtained a lot of confidential information in the official internal network of the Federation. Humans in this world have long mastered quantum communication technology. This is also one of the few high-techs they can come up with. Don't look at the 6,000 light-year territory at the peak of the Human Federation. In fact, it is not even a true galaxy-level civilization at all. If you want to become a galaxy-level civilization, you need to have 3 basic technologies. 1. Superluminal navigation technology. 2. Quantum communication technology. 3. Normal temperature controllable nuclear fusion technology. They represent transportation, communication, and energy, respectively. So far, humans have only mastered one of them. The other 2 can't be said to be completely clueless, but there is still a big gap from practical application. This is also the key that humans can't beat orcs. You must know that the orcs have mastered all 3 technologies many years ago, and they are the real galaxy-level civilization. The Human Federation is at most half a foot in. Just imagine, the warships of the Human Federation need to use natural wormholes to fly faster than the speed of light. And the orcs only need to choose a suitable location, and they can dispatch their troops at will in the galaxy. With such a big advantage, let alone the orcs are the dominant side. Even if they are at a disadvantage in military strength, they can still forcefully pull back the situation. However, Cheng also defeated Xiao He. It is precisely because of the existence of natural wormholes that humans can persist for 100 years under the powerful offensive of the orcs. Where there are natural wormholes, the spatial coefficient will be extremely unstable. No one can open a wormhole by themselves. The Human Federation is taking advantage of this, so that the orcs can be intercepted outside the territory. You must know that even the orcs who have entered the galaxy-level civilization are at their most vulnerable moment when they just pass through the natural wormhole. No matter how hard the material is, when the space is unstable, it can be easily shredded by applying a little external force. The Human Federation only needs to frantically build defensive cosmic fortresses outside natural wormholes. It can ensure that the orc fleet cannot pass through the wormhole. Then what if the other party comes around from another direction? No way, now I can only gamble. Bet we become a real galaxy-level civilization first, or the other party will find other ways to attack first. The question that Sha Feng thought of was also one of the most worrying issues for the Human Federation. Orcs are not fools. One attack direction will not work. They can make a big circle and try to dash from other directions. As long as you find a space node that can enter the territory of the human race, the deadlock at this time will be broken. Without the natural danger, the Human Federation will no longer be qualified to resist. After confirming the safety of the planet from Maya, Sha Feng focused his attention on the wise orc who was captured alive. He was curious, according to the human database. The status of intelligent orcs is extremely high, at least higher than he imagined before. In order to save a wise orc, the orcs are even willing to sacrifice the lives of millions of fighting orcs. In this case, why are there intelligent orcs on this planet? This is not at all common sense. Under normal circumstances, a planet of no strategic value, like Ramo, is a remote location and has no mineral resources. The attack methods used by the orcs are quite simple. Airdrop a cloning device and some battle orcs. Leave the rest to time. Take it or not. Orcs don't care. However, now there will be intelligent orcs here. Sha Feng's instinct is not right. After some tossing, with the help of the hypnotic ability of the powerful soul and the memory exploration technology of energy technology, Sha Feng got the information that made his heart skip a beat. Collect energy and activate the wormhole generator. Looking at the memory fragments translated by Skynet, Sha Feng was immediately numb. His first reaction was to run. Anyway, the mandatory task killing orcs *1000 arranged by the Babel Tower has been completed. You won't die even if you leave immediately. The big deal is that the evaluation reward is a little less. However, Sha Feng, who had calmed down, noticed something was wrong. To open a wormhole, an extremely large energy supply is required. According to Skynet's deduction, at least 10 energy systems in bases are needed to ensure such a huge energy supply. And there are a total of 10 bases on this planet. That is to say, as long as there is no problem with me, the other party will never be able to activate the wormhole. This conclusion made Sha Feng deeply relieved. No matter how strong he is, it is impossible to confront the space battleship head-on. At least not now. The opponent doesn't even need to attack with a weapon. Just throwing meteorites down from space is enough to crush Sha Feng. If a meteorite the size of a football field falls from space, it will bring 7,400 trillion kilojoules of energy, equivalent to the energy produced by the explosion of 1.78 trillion kilograms of TNT. About 76,500 times the mushroom bomb dropped by the United States in Nagasaki. That no longer belongs to the category of weapons, it is a natural disaster. In the face of that level of natural disaster, any creature still living on this planet has only one fate. Of course, Sha Feng did not take it lightly. Through the nanobiological cells, he immediately issued an order. The creep restrictions are all lifted, covering the world in the shortest time, and finding the other two intelligent orcs. Alien, Velociraptor, Hydralisk Unlimited Riot. Who is sure that the orcs have no backs? Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of what happens. He didn't dare to gamble with his own life. After arranging things on the planet, Sha Feng turned to check the Skynet invasion. That's right, when Maya used internal authority to enter the official internal network, Sha Feng let Skynet secretly invade the Human Federation network switchboard. The technology level of the Human Federation is not as good as that of the orcs, but it is also much better than him. And more comprehensive. As long as he gets the federal technology reserves, he can skip the intermediate elementary civilization and directly enter the intermediate civilization with half a foot. That is, the level of combat power represented by the 5-star pass angel. There is no doubt that quantum computers are not a rarity for the Human Federation that has mastered quantum communication technology. Before Sha Feng invaded, he was worried about whether Skynet could successfully invade. After all, in his impression, digital life forms like Skynet only exist in a special form. Compared with ordinary computers, its computing power can naturally be crushed. But compared to quantum computers, that's not so clear. After all, the computing power of a quantum computer is many times greater than the sum of all the computers of human beings in the planetary age. The performance of a quantum computer that can become the official general server of the Human Federation must be much more powerful than that of ordinary quantum computers. In this case, Sha Feng really didn't have much confidence in Skynet. Fortunately, Skynet did not disappoint him. Downloading. With the help of quantum communication technology, Skynet scoured the federal network. As long as it is a device that is connected to the internet, it is a controllable object. In front of it, the so-called firewalls, anti-theft systems, intelligent programs, etc., are all vulnerable. How powerful is the computing power? Skynet, after merging with Shefeng's soul, has no flaws in innovation ability. It's like a cunning hunter dealing with a wild boar. It doesn't matter how powerful or strong the prey is. Experienced hunters can always find a way to deal with those beasts. In fact, if not for the fragile nerves of the Human Federation during wartime, Sha Feng even wanted to steal a space battleship back. That is the real attack and retreat. Of course, before you have the ability to protect yourself, you can only think about it. Sha Feng is very aware of his own value. If the Human Federation finds out that something is wrong with him, it is almost certain that the other party will never let him go. There is not much to say about the ability to travel through the multiverse, personal planes, origin machinery, biotechnology, martial emperor level cultivation, and so on. No matter which item it is a great temptation for the Human Federation. To put it mildly, if we can master those technologies, we may be able to reverse the current unfavorable situation of human beings. In a big way, whether it is space technology, super life evolution technology, or biotechnology, it is the key to the evolution of mankind to a higher civilization. Whether it is public or private, there is no reason for the Human Federation not to act. At that time, even if Sha Feng is willing to surrender everything, the final result will only be locked in the laboratory as a guinea pig. This is also the reason why Sha Feng would rather find a solution by himself than let Maya report it to the military after discovering the Orc conspiracy. There are only two things in the world that cannot be looked at directly. One is the sun and the other is the heart. Sha Feng is not willing to hand over his life to others. Therefore, it is crucial to hide yourself. No one knows that the quantum communication transmission device of this planet has been secretly supervised by Skynet. No one wants to transmit information about Sha Feng. Off topic. After obtaining all the scientific and technological information of the Federation, Sha Feng immediately started the experiment. The various ores collected by Creep before can finally play a role at this time. If material civilization is good at fast mining, then biological civilization is good at convenient mining. What is portable mining? The content is actually very simple, mainly divided into two parts. First, biomining technology does not require a lot of professional equipment. As long as the ore veins are covered by the creep, the metal elements in the ore will be ionized under the action of the acidic solution and then collected. If necessary, it can even condense high-purity ore metal crystals with a purity that is infinitely close to 100% like a fruit. Second, for biological civilization, any place is a mine. No matter whether it is rich ore or poor ore, even ordinary soil can collect specified metals under the action of trace element condensation technology. This is also the reason for the desertification of the entire area covered by the creep. A biological civilization of the level of the Zerg can even drain the entire planet if necessary. In the end, only the useless silicon crystals such as sand and stone are left. Let the raptors carry the required metal crystals together. Sha Feng's thoughts moved, and nanomechanical cells poured out of his body. Under the control of Skynet, they began to multiply wildly with the help of high-purity metal crystals. After a few minutes, tens of trillions of nanomechanical cells converged. They are like magicians. Wherever they go, the raw materials are turned into the instruments that Sha Feng needs. From small toys to big apocalypse tanks. At the same time, various data were aggregated and stored in the Skynet database. This is the essence of an entire civilization. For Sha Feng, it is more precious than 1 million Tongtian points. There is no such complex and diverse practical application techniques and related precautions in the Babel Tower. It is no exaggeration to say that after having these, even if Sha Feng is now thrown to an uninhabited planet, he can also use this to quickly enter the interstellar era. Have plenty of weapons and ammunition. Those people at Base 2 can finally make a difference. Under the arrangement of Sha Feng, they drove tanks, mechas, and armored vehicles, marching mightily towards Base 3 and Base 6. Apart from Base 2, there are also the only two remaining human survival bases. Sha Feng did not disclose the news of the construction of the wormhole by the orcs. However, no one has any objection to supporting the same clan. Even many civilians volunteered to participate. For them, killing bugs is actually revenge. After handing over the command to Maya, Sha Feng turned and left. He has one more important thing to do. Build a space battleship. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.